Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Look, it's your Pharaoh of physical media along with your favorite German, Mr. Dieter Bastian, and we are here with Let's Get Physical. And I'm Robert Meyer Burnett, and I didn't mean to have us both split screen, so you're seeing something early. This was supposed to come later. You're getting a little taste of things to come, but since he's here, here's your favorite German, my favorite German, everyone's favorite German, Mr. Dieter Bastian. Dieter, how are you today?
Rob, another week down. Another mediocre Disney Star Wars show was on the horizon. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. And welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media. And Rob, my first question to you. Are you people over there crazy? There was an announcement of a hurricane. It didn't came, and people seem to be upset. I want my hurricane! I need that new roof that the insurance would have paid for. It seemed to be people were upset that there was no hurricane.
Well, let's face it. The only person, especially on the West Coast, the only hurricane anybody here, especially in the state of California, cares about is you. Is your hurricane, Dieter. This hurricane, Hurricane Hillary, was not here to rock us, clearly.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. I mean, we got a lot of water, which we needed. I mean, I can't remember a 70-degree day in August in California, maybe ever. So we did get a lot of, glorious rain. Marcel, the apple tree that I planted, my apple tree that I've been tending to, started blooming.
Yeah.
A little early, but I have to say, I'll give it up for that hurricane dumping. There were some places that were flooded, and in Mexico, a few people lost their lives. So, it just, look, it was kind of like after 9/11. Suddenly the studios were checking under everybody's cars to make sure that there were no bombs. We like to be alarmists here in California. Not to say because, we do have horrible fires, we do have horrible floods, we have mudslides, we do have enough of our fair share of very deadly, very costly natural disasters. And I think this was such a novelty because we don't have tropical storms that, we wanted to make the most of it. And as we do,
Yeah.
But I would say if you were leading the charge, if you were in front of Hillary, billowing in, like if there was some gigantic CG Dieter Bastian in the sky, blowing, we would have had, it would have been rough.
Some kind of hurricane.
Yeah.
It seemed just to me, Rob, that some people were upset about not getting their promised hurricane. And speaking of storms, we have Gran Turismo coming out in the United States.
Did it come
put,
out in the United States?
Yeah. Did it put the box office ablaze and storm to the front of the pack?
No.
No.
No. It did not. But if you excuse me, I will tell you exactly what it did. Here we go.
Yeah.
Our friend Anthony D'Alessandro has this to say about Gran Turismo and Barbie bumping heads with 17 million each this weekend. The doll leads National Cinema Day. Today is National Cinema Day here in the States, and all movies are like $4, so you can go.
Oh yeah.
So it's National Cinema Day. Everybody run out to the cinema, get your $4 movie tickets, take the family. Warner Brothers is calling Barbie's sixth weekend at 17.1 million, while rivals show it at a 15.1 million take after a 5.3 million Saturday. That was 33% over its Friday. As we mentioned, Warner Brothers are irate over Sony's handling of preview box office accounting on Gran Turismo. Warner Brothers believes that Sony should back out of all the non-Thursday should back all of the non-Thursday previews out of Gran Turismo's Friday so that Barbie can be number one for a fifth time in a row. Who cares? No studio's internal box office chart sees it that way. Where is Warner is getting the logic that Barbie gets to 17.1 this weekend? Read on, as it's all about National Cinema Day. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer is expected to hit 300 million domestic today. And while we won't have hard admission stats until tomorrow, box office analysts firm Intelligence is currently seeing a committed 3.1 million ticket purchases, not box office, that's admissions.
Okay.
For today in pre-sales, will walk-up business get us to a level of last year's Cinema Day, which fell on a Saturday during Labor Day weekend and clocked 8 million. One studio is betting that we do an 8.75 million in admissions today. So that's pretty cool. As of this weekend, during her entire domestic run, I like how they're calling Barbie her. Has a movie ever been called Her before? Barbie will have over 50 million tickets sold for 594.8 million domestic. So that's pretty cool. MGM's Bottoms, which is the
comedy,
the comedy about high school girls that start a fight club for lesbians.
Yeah.
Which
so it sounds cool.
I'm in. I'm in. I saw the trailer. I thought it looked hilarious. But I thought Joyride was going to be. Raunchy chicks, man. I might not want to marry them, but I'll laugh at them. So especially if they're lesbians. They wouldn't want to marry me anyway. So I really want to see it. Love those raunchy comedies. But we'll see. But it only had a pretty good opening. It didn't open huge, but it had a theater average of 51,000 for 516.2, so $500,000. Which could beat Everything Everywhere All at Once's opening theater average, which is good. And next weekend,
it's from MGM, you said?
Yes.
It's from MGM?
Yes. Okay. It had a very small opening, and next weekend the film will expand to 700 theaters across North America. Let's hope that the LGBT themes of the film carry it to box office success. I want more raunchy comedies. Raunchy comedies about girls in high school, maybe I should feel guilty about that, being an old middle-aged man with one foot in the grave. But hey, funny's funny. Funny's funny. So here is the stats. Gran Turismo is up for 17.3 million. Barbie is at 17.1 million. Blue Beetle made 12 million this weekend, which isn't bad. Actually,
50%.
It's down 74%. Ouch. But still, hey, what are you going to do? It was going to be on streaming, and they put it in theaters. Yeah. So whatever it's making is more money than it would have made on streaming. Remember that. Oppenheimer, 9 million this weekend, crossing 300 million domestic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 6.1 million, up to 98.1 million. Meg 2, The Trench, hanging in there with 5.1 million, and it's made 74.4 million total. Strays, which I've heard is very funny. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
An anemic 4.65 million, down 44% its second weekend. I would have thought it would have done better. Dogs and raunchy humor. Come on, what's not to love? The new Liam Neeson movie, Retribution, 3.34 million. Talk to Me, 3.12 million for a 37.3 million for an Australian movie, debut feature from two brothers. You guys go. And the movie The Hill made 2.5. And then other notable movies, Golda, about Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir, and people were calling it Golda Turismo for the weekend instead of, Barbenheimer, Golda Rismo, I guess, but it didn't quite work out that way. And then The Hill, 2.5 million. So, I already said The Hill. And that's it. I'm done. Hey, there you go. There's the box office, dude. Now, before we get started, son, I would like to read an article. I don't usually do it on the show. I want to read an article that some people have read. They were sharing it on social media, but I think it is relevant to our interests, And for those of you who don't, even though somebody said, I don't like it when you read articles, Rob, it makes me feel like I'm in the 5th grade. Well, you know what? Most of America is in the 5th grade about their mental levels, so it's important for me to roll in and use my dulcet tones. And yeah, that's right. That's right, God damn it. So I'm going to read this article to all of you. Sit back, pour yourself some more frosty ice water, and strap in. So here's the article, and this comes to us from the New Yorker, and this was written by Richard Brody, and it was published on August 25th, and the article is, What We Lose When Streaming Companies Choose What We Watch. And this subtitle is, Maybe Don't Throw Away All Your DVDs Just Yet. Look at that. That's a pretty respectable collection. You got to like that. Yeah. Woo, that makes me, that gives me a woody, I have to say. To have or not to have, that is the question. The problem with having is obvious when looking around at the many shelves for books and CDs and the filing cabinet for DVDs that line the walls and fill floor space at home. It's especially an issue for city people whose apartment space is at a premium and who lack basements or attics, or imagine a spare room to hold their hoard. Ditching physical media in favor of streaming is a liberation of sorts and unburdening that goes beyond clutter and, in a sense, lightens life itself. It's a movable feast for those who live precariously and for others who travel often. In Michael Mann's thriller Heat, Robert De Niro delivers this line. Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything that you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. So much for the personal library. At least he'll have his Criterion Channel subscription. I was out of town for a couple of weeks recently, and I had my subscriptions too. The permanent smorgasbord of streaming services, whether of movies or music, is a diabolical temptation. Curiosity is easy to satisfy, at least within the wide limits of what's available. Moreover, a month's subscription to the Criterion Channel costs less than the purchase of any one Criterion Collection disc, while offering access to hundreds of classics. Even a small basketful of various subscriptions would likely add up to less than one might easily spend on a batch of CDs or DVDs or Blu-rays, not to mention the devices to play them on. Not only is streaming a good deal, given the huge losses recorded by many major streaming services, it may be too good a deal, as suggested by the surprising news this week, even as Netflix is ending its original DVD by mail service, that Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is contemplating restoring physical media to the company's offerings. Yay! We'll talk about that later. There's an element of duty in critics' personal library, the preservation of what may prove useful for work, but it's not the prime motive for compiling one, as I've been doing since childhood. Collecting is an act of love. Even though it risks fetish-like attachments to the objects in question, its essence is found not in the objects themselves, but in the pleasure they provide, by delivering movies, music, literature, by providing the experience of art. Yet the experience of art is, above all, an experience, a part of life, and just as the arts are more than mere nutrients, the medium is more than a delivery system. It has an aesthetic and a psychology of its own. The prime factor of home video is control, and it's the struggle for control between corporate entities and individual viewers that's at play in the shift from physical media to streaming. First, even the most beautiful or bountiful streaming service gives with one hand while taking with the other. For example, the Criterion Channel, the gold standard for cinephiliac offerings, both announces a new batch of films arriving on the first day of the following month and thoughtfully warns subscribers of what's leaving on the last day of the current one. Among the August 31st farewells is a large batch of Buster Keaton features and shorts, Martin Scorsese's Mean Streets, Stanley Kwan's intricate docu-fictional biopic Center Stage, and a group of films featuring Marilyn Monroe, including Monkey Business and All About Eve. This is not a knock on any particular service, but it is a reason to be wary of exclusive reliance on all streaming services. There is an implicit permanence to owning a disc. Even obsolete media such as VHS tapes or 78 RPM records can still be played. With streaming, availability is out of one's control, and movie watching becomes an activity conducted under the aegis of Big Brother. however well-meaning. And that invisible hand isn't always so benign, as indicated by ominous messages that sometimes pop up at the start of films to proclaim, as for instance has been seen on Disney, that this film has been modified from its original version. It has been edited for content. What vanished? Sex? Drugs? Cigarettes? Daryl Hannah's beautifully sculpted ass and splash? Actually, the article didn't say that. I added that. Hateful dialogue? Pervasive language? Only by watching side by side with the DVD can one find out. The oddly intrusive feeling of each viewing being mediated by a business standing between oneself and the viewing, the listening, the reading, bears a chill of surveillance. You should know about that, Dieter. That's not the case when one holds in one's lap a book that one owns, pops a disc into a player, or lays a needle on a record. When the drum beats go like this. Along with the specific aesthetic of movies one views, there's an economic aesthetic at work too in each type of transaction. Having a movie in hand that's paid for once, or paying forever and owning nothing but memories and promises? A collection of physical media is a bulwark against fear. The fear that rights holders may take works out of circulation, because God knows how the world could not survive without Thriller in 4K. Whether because of I added that too, by the way. Whether because of a mere contractual lapse or a calculated market-making and desire-stoking scarcity, for decades, starting long before the age of home video, Howard Hawks' Scarface and Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo were unavailable in the United States for theatrical screenings. In their absence, the cinephiliac world didn't stop spinning, but it was smaller, narrowing the realm of knowledge and the spectrum of pleasure alike. The sense of crisis that always marks the interface of art and power has grown all the sharper in recent years, with the sudden disappearance of websites and distributors such as Filmstruck and New Yorker Films, and the mighty archive of work that they harbor, and the mergers and takeovers of sites, publications, movie and record companies, and book publishers by owners with commercial or ideological agendas that conflict with the preservation and availability of archives. The shutdown or lockdown of any single site may eliminate all access to the only extant source of a major movie. Thus, physical media takes on an essentially political role as the basis for Shamsdat for the preservation in private of what's neglected or suppressed or destroyed in the public realm, be it through mercantile vandalism, doctrinaire censorship, or technological apocalypse. I mean, come on. The modern history of movies started in the 1930s when Henri Langlois and Georges Franju founded the Cinémathèque Française and Iris Berry established MoMA's film library. Most movie companies at the time treated their film prints as literal throwaways to be recycled for their chemical ingredients, on the assumption that these movies, once released and exhausting their first runs, had no further value. The future of cinema, its advance into the forefront of modern art, resulted from the preservation and appreciation of its past. In an era when cheap physical media such as DVDs circulate widely, preservation is no longer the exclusive province of institutions housing bulky and expensive film prints. The archive of the future is decentralized, crowdsourced. Far from being nostalgic and conservative, the maintenance of a stock of physical media at home is a progressive act of defiance. Huh. Fuck yeah, dude. That's from the New Yorker.
There you go.
And that comes to us from Mr. Richard Brody. You go, Richard. What do you think, Dietz? Is he right?
Could it be, Rob, that Criterion pulled Mean Streets because of the 4K release?
I think so. And remember, I might not. I don't know if I'm going to purchase.
Yeah.
The Criterion Mean Streets, and do you know why?
You wait for the Barnes & Noble sale.
No, because Second Sight is also putting out Mean Street. Mean Streets from Second Sight, baby. I'm always gonna. I mean, my Second Sight, my beloved Second Sight. Gotta love that. If only to get the box that it's gonna come in. Hey, I'm going to buy Criterion's release. We talked about it last week. They're putting out Days of Heaven in 4K. Gimme. I'm still going to do my Criterion, bit for King and Country.
Yeah.
It's fine. But, Second Sight, they've got my love. You might have to wait on them, but they're worth waiting for.
But the transfer should be the same, I would think so.
I don't know, dude. Second Sight goes in and tweaks. That's Robert Eggers, man. They released The Witch on disc, but what did Second Sight come and do? They fixed it because Robert Eggers was not happy. I don't know who those mad magicians at Second Sight are, but you know what? After that Dawn of the Dead 4K box set, they have my eternal love. And you know what? I don't think Second Sight's ever going to cheat on me. I don't think so. I don't think they're ever going to tell me that I don't share enough of myself with them, because I share everything about what I feel about Second Sight. I love them. I love everything about Second Sight. And they're working on the Hitcher now. And I understand, because they're contractually obligated to allow other people to release the Hitcher first. I get it. Okay. The Flotsam and Jetsam might pick it up on a smaller label, or actually on a bigger label. I will wait for the glorious box set that I know Second Sight's going to make. And
totally. Because we have it at the moment, Rob. So we can wait.
It's true. Thanks to you, I have the Hitcher.
Yeah. And I think the Blu-ray is very, very good, actually.
It is good, but not as good as what Second Sight's going to give us.
I know, Rob. But enough to wait. It's good enough to wait for the Second Sight, But it's great. But it's great that he thinks that it's worth preserving or still keep collecting physical media. And I would
goddamn right.
When I would jump to one of our letters, it's a little bit different from Michael Lido, but he thinks he can save perhaps the box office or how to make money considering releasing physical media and when. And he writes, Miguelito writes us the Miguelito monetization plan. Hello, Rob and Dieter. I'm a senior citizen on a fixed income. Mikey can't.
What is he, Hyman Roth now?
What?
No, that's a Godfather 2 joke. It's okay. Sorry.
Mikey can't compete with people who have money, so I'm reduced to communicating via letter. We have discussed major studios' inability to monetize their content on this channel before. Here's a plan to help them become profitable again. Keep in mind that I'm not an industry professional, so some of my proposals may be imprecise, but I believe you will understand the general idea. Number 1, use your current budgeting methods for a film, then cut the final number in half for the producers. If your filmmakers are skilled, they should be able to make a good movie within that budget. Second, release the film to theaters. It does what it does. Third, set your permanent streaming embargo to 180 days, no exceptions. To many consumers, especially after the pandemic, expect the movie to be streaming almost immediately after release. Disimbue them of that notion. Number 4, set a 90-day physical media embargo with no exceptions. Release the content in the highest available quality and include extras like behind-the-scenes featurettes and director's commentaries. You know what to include as you've done it before. As usual, include a premium VOD digital code with the purchase. Number 5, set the embargo for premium VOD to 60 days with no exceptions. The content release should be identical to the physical media release with one exception, including one featurette. Additionally, when purchasing the premium VOD, include an advert highlighting all of the additional content a purchaser will receive when they buy the physical media copy 30 days later. If a person purchases the premium VOD copy first, when purchasing the physical media copy, the advert will be deleted and all the other additional content of the physical media release will be available digitally. The Miguelito monetization plan includes a strategy for releasing streaming content on physical media, despite it never being done before. Number 6, as with feature content, budget as in number 1. 7, set the embargo for premium VOD content to 90 days without exceptions. Release it in the highest quality with one extra and an advert for additional content available with purchase of physical media. 8, set the physical media release to 120 days with no exceptions. The physical media streaming release should be of the highest quality and include extras like behind-the-scenes featurettes and director's commentaries, similar to the extras included with feature releases. A digital code will be included in the physical media release. Customers who previously purchased the premium VOD release will have the included advert removed and will be able to access all available content from the physical media release digitally. The Miguelito monetization plan aims to make content accessible to the largest audience in their preferred form while restoring sanity to major and mini-major studios' monetization policies. That's my proposal. What do you think? Ciao for now. Well, in this day and age of streaming, even I'm getting used to getting the content really early. So I'm getting what you're saying, but even for me, it would be tough to go back to wait that long for stuff.
Well, I mean, Mikey's a wise man, and first of all, I appreciate him writing in and sharing his thoughts. Yeah, I mean, look,
how would you release stuff considering?
Look, I think
how long would you?
What did he say? Like 120 days? Like he was proposing look, I
think it was 180 days just for being on a Netflix or an Apple.
Look,
and he said, let me just see, a 90-day for physical media embargo.
I agree with that. I think that it used to be, I mean, movies, it took a year before, in the VHS days, quite a long time. And when movies like E.T. were hits, there was a possibility they were never going to come out on home video, and stuff like Fantasia, the really rare Disney movies, because they were released theatrically over and over and over again. I do think that, here's the thing, the way that the streamers went about, I think that they were, again, under a false impression. And the thing is, if somebody wants to see a theatrical film, if a movie is successful and they hear about it theatrically, that makes it appealing when it comes to a streaming service. Same was true of, HBO and Showtime in the 80s. Yeah. When they would release a theatrical movie, sometimes it might have been a year after it played theatrically, because movies would play longer in theaters. They would play regionally. They didn't have these gigantic releases. I think Star Wars only opened on 35 screens when it first opened, because they didn't know it was going to be a hit. And movies like Halloween or Dawn of the Dead or Phantasm, they played regionally over the course of 2 years and made a lot of money. I understand the problem is movies cost a lot less, and the studios need to have money coming back into them as soon as possible, because they have to offset the costs and the interest payments of these movies that are costing $200 and $300 million. So I understand that. But look, I think the entire business, the entire movie business, needs to go back to a lot of different things. I think they need to learn how to make mid-level, adult-oriented movies that don't, like, if Mission Impossible didn't cost $300 million because of COVID protocols, and you brought the price down to $150 million, it would be a lot more profitable than it is right now. And they're spending, it doesn't matter who's in a movie or how successful it is, Hollywood's really forgotten how to make movies. They're spending way too much money across the board. And why is Netflix spending $200 million on any movie? I don't care who's in it. Did Red notice? Is it worth? Did you get enough subscribers, Netflix, when you make The Gray Man and Red? I know you want to be star fuckers, but nobody even remembers. When was the last time anyone talked about The Gray Man? Do you remember? Let me ask you this, Dieter. Who are the two leads of The Gray Man? $220 million movie for Netflix. Their most expensive movie. Who starred in it? Quickly.
Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas.
No. Ryan Gosling and Captain America. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yeah.
Even you, the trash panda, a $220 million movie with these two basically spy versus spy, a Mad magazine, even though it was done by the Russo brothers, no one fucking remembers that movie. It has absolutely no footprint in pop culture. It is totally forgettable, and they spent $220 million on it. The Russo brothers made it. This is an embarrassment. I mean, you don't have to look any further than The Gray Man to understand what's wrong with streaming and what's wrong with Hollywood. You know, I mean, Barbie and Oppenheimer. All you need to do is craft movies and craft great movies that everybody wants to see and sell them correctly. The problem is Hollywood doesn't know how to market movies anymore, and they certainly don't know how to make movies that appeal to adults or kids or all audiences. And I know that Oppenheimer is a special case, but what they should learn is you don't have to spend $300 million. I mean, when you have Indiana Jones failing at the box office, there's a real problem. And the question is why? Why are they failing? And it's because people want new and unique, as always. Franchises only carry you so far, and then franchises run out of steam.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know. I think they need to go back to the old model where Hollywood is profitable. Spend less on movies, more times in theaters, and learn how to market your movies and make them more aware. I mean, now that there's way more ways to market. You got to market movies on TikTok, market movies on Instagram. Figure it out, make it work. And Oppenheimer, the Barbenheimer thing, that was, you know what that was? That was social media marketing movies for the studios. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure the marketing people want to take all credit for it. They get no credit. Barbenheimer was something that social media just decided to do. I don't know. I think
it gave both movies the push way above what I was thinking they would made. Those movies.
I know. Crazy. I mean, who would have thought Barbie is the most successful movie Warner Brothers has ever released? More than Harry Potter? More than Batman?
Insane.
It's insane.
Never would have thought that could happen. I have 2 letters left, Rob. I would say we finished the letter stuff.
Why
first.
not?
One, of course, comes from Brian Knight. Robert, you have made it painfully clear this year you are disappointed with Warner Bros.' lack of celebration of 100 years in Hollywood. I don't believe you have mentioned Warner Bros. Have teamed up with TCM this year as they acquired TCM as part of some corporate deal. In March, TCM spent a whole month with Warner Brothers movies and has continued every month since. They still need to distribute many of the movies you have mentioned, missing a Blu-ray or 4K release. Would also like a remake of Logan's Run with today's technology available and more faithful to the novel. It came from Brian Knight.
Well, first of all, Warner Brothers fucked TCM. You know, there was a big controversy over TCM this year, and filmmakers had to step in to save it, like Martin Scorsese, and we've talked about that on this show, and how. But here's the thing: the reason why Warner Brothers, and we'll get to them because today's show is unofficially sponsored by Warner Premiere and Kino Lorber, but it's shameful how lackluster the people at Warner Brothers. Now, I'm not talking about Warner Premiere. I'm talking about their theatrical marketing took over their DVD division, their home video division. It's shameful how they blew this opportunity. I cannot stress enough how Warner Brothers completely squandered this opportunity of their 100th anniversary. They should have had a title coming out every week. There should have been fanfare. They should have had all kinds of, but they don't know. And I'll tell you, you know who doesn't know? The fucking people working at Warner Brothers who are in. Now, this does not apply to Warner Brothers UK. This applies to Warner Brothers here in the United States. The people, it's shameful. And David Zaslav should be like, what the fuck? We have one of the greatest, deepest catalogs of any movie studio in history. And what have you put out? Why weren't we celebrating every week with a brand new 4K restoration? I understand because it's expensive to do, but you only turn 100 how many times? Once. And it is unbelievable how we could have celebrated, you know, and even Warner Brothers UK didn't do this, but even bogarting, I bet if you just went, like I just asked you about the Gray Man, if you went to the people that were running the Warner Brothers catalog titles, the theatrical titles and the main, and you were to ask them, you'd go, okay, MGM or Warner Brothers, you decide. And you asked them, and you gave them a rapid fire, and you listed, did Warner Brothers make The Wizard of Oz? Did Warner Brothers make Gone with the Wind? Did Warner Brothers make Logan's Run? I'll bet you they wouldn't know the answers to that right away. And this is the problem. And yeah, that's not to say, to be fair, we've got some great James Dean titles. We got Rio Bravo, fucking great, right? But in terms of Rio Bravo, as much as we might like it, the general public, I mean, Warner Brothers, first of all, their horror and sci-fi titles are obviously premium because people, as their own sales figures can tell them. How much did Lost Boys and Poltergeist sell? A lot.
Yeah.
So if Lost Boys 87 and Poltergeist 82 sold a lot, well, why didn't Warner Brothers go and look into all the other movies that they had, like Outland with Sean Connery? Those people don't know what the fuck Outland is. And at the same time, 2010, which is another movie that Peter Hyams directed. By the way, Warner Brothers, that's an MGM movie, the people at Warner Brothers, if you want to know. So, hey, everybody, Peter Hyams made 2 science fiction movies in the 80s, Outland and 2010, and I would have asked him which one's Warner Brothers and which one's MGM. I bet they wouldn't have got it right. The answer to that question is Outland is Warner Brothers, 2010 is MGM. And why would you put 2010 out? How about because it also offers you an opportunity to promote 2001 too, which is yet another MGM title you've bogarted, but that's okay. I mean, celebrate the 100th anniversary, and you've got one director making 2 movies, so why not shoot an interview with him and do some exclusive... I'll tell you something. Last night, Elizabeth and I watched the 4K Criterion disc of Martin Scorsese's After Hours, and it's all legacy special features, but the deleted scenes were remastered in 4K, or at least in HD, and there was a great new feature with Martin Scorsese and Fran Lebowitz talking about the making of After Hours. That was fascinating. I mean, why didn't Warner Brothers do that? Again, there's so many great Warner titles that don't exist. They should have all been remastered to 4K. Why? Because they all then go to Max. They're all future-proofed. I mean, it's all, where's the synergy? Does anyone know what they're fucking doing at these companies? I don't think they do. And it's like 100th anniversary. Disney, we'll talk about Disney later. It's their 100th anniversary too. Where the fuck is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 4K? Does anybody working at Disney know they made 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Does anyone know what that movie meant to Walt Disney? Where's Mary Poppins in 4K? I can get Mary Poppins Returns in 4K. Oh, you know what? I already have it. I can go right there and get it and watch it. No Mary Poppins in 4K. Why not? It's amazing. Well, it's too much money. It's a lot less money than you're losing. You know, you could spend a lot. How many movies could you remaster on what you lost making Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? A lot of fucking movies, Disney.
Yeah.
You could have gone back and released, but no. I mean, the reason these people are losing money is because the people at the top that are running these studios no longer understand the business they're working in. They are incompetent. David Zaslav, whatever. Bob Iger coming back. Okay, great, fine. But you know what? Your core business, your catalog, Disney's catalog drives everything they do. It drives their cruises. It drives their theme parks. And they should have those movies out in optimal format. And we'll talk about that later. But, oh my God, it's so... You're watching these companies and it's like, who's running them? It's your 100th anniversary. Why isn't the first thing that you do? And then you make a 100th anniversary thing on Max. And, you know, once you've released the 4K, you sell it for a couple months and you put it right on Max. Here's Warner Brothers' legacy. 52 movies celebrating, or better yet, they should have put a fucking 100 movies out for their 100th anniversary in 4K and put 2 out a week. Well, that would be 104, but whatever. Have a couple of skip weeks. And then have the 100 greatest Warner Brothers movies in 4K, or the ones we haven't remastered. But they don't even know. The people don't even know. If you were to ask the people at Warner Brothers, what about the right stuff in 4K and a new Dolby Atmos mix, they would look at you and go, what's the right stuff? This is the problem. And yet, I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's unbelievable. And there's people that work at that studio that know. They have one man at that studio that knows more about movies and more about than anyone working any place in Hollywood right now, with maybe the exception of people like his good friend Robert Harris. You know, and it's just it's unbelievable to me. Why are the studios and why are the streamers losing money? Because they don't fucking know their own business. Anyway, that's enough of my rant. Sorry.
We are level the playing field now.
I mean, I feel like it's Hudson and Aliens. Why don't you put him in charge? Yeah, you should.
Last letter from Vincent from France. Special features cancelled. Hi Rob, Dieter. It's been a while since my last letters. I have been busy but still watching the weekly Dieter show. Colombo has announced that all the extras produced for the upcoming Colombo Blu-ray box set have been cancelled due to unforeseen issues. The release itself is not cancelled. This happened before with Ishtar's release in the UK that was cancelled by Powerhouse Indicator. It was believed to be because of opinions in the extras that upset some rights holders. It appears the same for the Colombo situation. I find that disheartening. Not only did historians spend some time recording their commentaries, and Kino likely paid money only for all of this to go to waste. Rob, do you know anything more about the extras being pulled from Colombo, or any specifics? Why?
Okay. I don't, and I wrote my contact to Kino Lorber, but he was probably gone for the weekend, so he hasn't written me back. But Kino Lorber on August 25th, on Friday, had a very quick, they tweeted out, or pardon me, X'd out. Due to unforeseen issues, we can no longer include all the new audio commentaries, essays, and other extras we had produced for our upcoming box set. Their box set is seasons 1 through 7 of Colombo, all the 1970s stuff. It looks to be, now I think this is it's a real bummer, because if you go back and you see what CBS did for like the Twilight Zone with all these commentaries, and absolutely fantastic. I think there's two possibilities here, and not like two different possibilities in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And maybe they're unable to respond to this. I don't know. But I would say there's two possibilities. One, that when the discs were being mastered, the discs were like... So what happens is you make an overall master that you replicate your discs from. And it might be that they licensed this from Universal. They might have been given masters to replicate the discs from that were already made, and they didn't realize that they thought that they were going to put the commentaries on. So they had finished masters to replicate the discs from that just they didn't put so it would cost a lot of money to go back, because you have to author, when you're authoring discs, you have to put streams, and having commentaries, you have to add a bunch of menu items, you have to add a bunch, it becomes a much more complex process, because basically Blu-rays are essentially computer discs. So it's not nearly as easy as it is to put on DVDs. So maybe they just didn't anticipate the work, because it would cost a lot more money and a lot more time. So maybe it was just too cost prohibitive. That's what I would say is probably the reality. Is that they had so much stuff, and then they realized, like, oh my God, we have to design these menus, and we have to have, you have to push buttons, and if you're putting commentaries down, all the commentaries need to be listed. It could have been a packaging. I mean, all this stuff down the road costs a ton of money, and it sounded like they produced an enormous amount of special features, which sucks, because then again, somebody wasn't thinking. Or the other thing I can think about is that maybe, like it was pointed out by our friend, that maybe there was some objectionable material, and it could have been that Universal, I think they licensed these from Universal.
Yeah.
Like Kino Lorber went ahead and was producing stuff, and then Universal lawyers stepped in and said, "Oh no. We need to approve all of these commentaries." And when you've got as many commentaries as they were producing, and I mean, the lawyers don't have that time because they're billed by the hour or whatever. So suddenly they're faced with an enormous legal issue where now all of those commentaries and all of those essays have to be signed off on. And I think that's probably one of those two things, or even maybe a combination of the two, was probably what happened. Like nobody was thinking, like, hey, we produced all these great special features, let's just put them on the discs. And they found out, like Criterion famously did those early Bond discs, they had to pull the commentaries off them because people made some disparaging comments or whatever. So that might have happened. I would imagine it was either it was going to be too expensive to put all that stuff on the discs, or it was too expensive for the lawyers to actually have to go through all this stuff and sign off on it. Either way, it's really too bad because they already created those special features. So maybe they can do an audio disc, or better yet, release them as podcasts. You know, Kino Lorber's got a pretty big presence. Maybe they could put them up on a website someplace, or make them available on Spotify. You know, put them out as podcasts if you want to, because audio commentaries, if you're not watching the episode, they're still valuable. Maybe Kino Lorber can do something with them. But it is really sad because I'm still looking forward to getting these on Blu-ray. But it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it was an extensive set that they had planned. But what can you do? That's a bummer.
Yeah.
So where do we go, Rob?
Well, you want to show some stuff?
Okay. Who starts, Rob?
Well, do you have a lot of stuff? I don't have much stuff.
A few titles. I have a few titles.
Do you know what I have, though? Thank you, Kino Lorber. Okay, I got two sequels.
And show us, Rob.
I got two sequels today to show. And I love them both, even though people would say, why, Rob, do you love them both? And I'm going to show a movie that a lot of people are going to... I think somebody told me, and I don't know if this is true, that this movie has 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
0.
But how many critical reviews, Rob?
I don't know.
Only 10.
I don't know. I love this movie. I saw it 4 times in the theater.
Yeah.
And the actress in it, it was from General Hospital. This was her big crossover. And this movie was directed by Sylvester Stallone, who has a cameo in the film.
Now I know what.
And
what
it is a
sequel.
It is a sequel to Saturday Night Fever in 4K, baby. Kino Lorber, Staying Alive in Dolby Vision. New Dolby Vision Master. And let me tell you, I popped this bad boy on. This looks fantastic. I still love this movie. I don't care. You can say what you want, and you can malign me all you want. This movie fucking rules. I will stand by it. Now, here's the thing. Does this rule like the original Saturday Night Fever? No. Does this rule like All About Eve, which is my favorite screenplay ever written? Probably. No. Does this rule like Voyage of the Rock Aliens with Pia Zadora and Craig Schaefer? Probably not. But in some alternate universe, there's some like monograph that's been written on why this is one of the greatest movie musicals, quote unquote musicals, or dance movies ever made. This is not that universe. I freely admit it. But I love this movie.
Have you checked it, Rob, considering the quality?
Yeah, no, I watched. Oh, yes. I cracked this bad boy open. Although I have to say that it does not have a, because this was the key art, it doesn't have a different slipcover.
A little bit strange that Paramount is releasing Staying Alive, not Staying Alive, but Saturday Night Fever, but license this one out.
I think Paramount's embarrassed by this movie, and Paramount has given a lot of movies, like Indecent Proposal, that was a huge hit. Kino Lorber has been licensing a lot of Paramount titles out, lesser titles, but God bless Kino Lorber, and they're putting it out in 4K. And speaking of Kino Lorber...
Wasn't Staying Alive a box office hit, Rob, when it came out?
No, it was not.
Okay.
No.
Didn't know that.
It was not.
Didn't know exactly what did it made.
And, it's funny, I got more Kino Lorber stuff coming next week, but the other movie that they sent me, now, Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver, who's had kind of a career renaissance lately. Hardcore with George C. Scott.
Ooh.
Now, this is on Blu-ray. George C. Scott goes into the CD porn industry to find his daughter.
Yeah.
And look what they did. Alternate cover with the...
Nice.
I mean, there's a poster. This is not like, oh, my God, that's my daughter. I mean, now hardcore. Now it's just a father turns on OnlyFans and finds out he subscribes to his own daughter taking her clothes off. So it's a different world. But still, hey, Paul Schrader examining and George C. Scott. This movie is lurid. I guess the word lurid. But hey, it's got audio commentary by film historians and Paul Schrader audio commentary. And happy to have hardcore. So thank you, Kino Lorber. Here you go.
Have not seen that this is coming out. Have not seen. It's probably not out on the street release date.
No, Kino Lorber always hooks me up. I got 2 more boxes coming from him next week. So those are my 2 Kino Lorber titles of the week. All of my stuff like Nightmare Before Christmas, all that's coming next week. It didn't get here. So, but I'll stop there. Okay. For the time being. I'll wait to show you my other sequel that I got that I dearly love. Love. Because it's also a great special edition.
Okay. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes too?
No.
Okay.
Not a 0% on Rotten. No. So what did you get?
So what did I get, Rob? I did show this already. The Black Sabbath, the Paranoid Quadio.
Oh, yeah.
This that I got. But this was not the only one. I had to get, of course, Alice Cooper's $1 Billion Babies as a Quadio disc 2. Really nice.
Is that Atmos or just 5.1?
No Quadio. So just 4.0.
Oh, it's quad, okay.
Yeah, like the Black Sabbath album. And considering the album is already now 50 years old, really great listen to that album in that sound format. But a friend of mine did send me a picture. I don't know if I have it too. There wasn't DVD audio from $1 Billion Babies. So if I don't have it myself, I'm not sure at the moment. I will ask my friend to come over that we can do a little bit check up between the 2 discs to hear if how the sound mix is different between the Quadio and the 5.1. Cat in the Bag stuff, Rob. Let's go.
Here it
comes. A new Jackie Chan movie called Ride On. As far as I believe, he plays some kind of stuntman. Here is the German media book with the 4K of the movie. Yes, the old stuntman in the new world. Der alte Stuntman in der neuen Welt. So, haven't seen it because I only got it on Friday. So, Ride On. It's Blu-ray and the 4K. Another movie, I'm really looking forward to this one from Cape Light. I think it's Cape Light, yes. It's called Lockdown Tower.
Ooh.
So I don't know if it's kind of a home invasion movie, perhaps. So it comes. Let me just see. It's the 4K and Blu-ray here. Oh, it's nice. That looks promising. So media book and cat in the back. Lockdown Tower. Let me just see if the movie is actually... Yes, the movie is in French, so it's a French movie, it seems. Ooh. And we know our French people. The next one, I have not seen it. I'm a little bit hesitant about it, considering the reviews were a little bit middling. Some liked it, some didn't like it. Some said there was good stuff in it, but then it was too long. But I'm really looking forward to it because I liked Hereditary and Midsommar. I got both Not Afraid as
nice
German. Bo is afraid. It's not afraid. Is afraid. It comes with the 4K and shiny. But I haven't seen it. So I hope at least I get some kind of enjoyment out of it. 4K and Blu-ray. Bo is afraid. And I do one more because Rob said, no, I'm not even showing this piece of trash. But I will because it's shiny. My Fast and Furious 10.
Dude, I got to tell you.
Steelbook. I had a blast yesterday. Rob.
Okay, you know my great love of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, I know it, Rob.
I will not buy this movie.
I thought you had it. Didn't you bought it, Rob?
No, I did not. Nope.
Where did you watch it? On digital?
I watched it on digital.
Okay.
And you know what? I will never own it.
You hated it.
I hated it.
Hated it. And I had a good time with it yesterday, Rob.
I hated number 9. And I bought that.
Already, Rob.
I bought it. Maybe someday, just as a completist, somebody will come in and shame me and go, why don't you have Fast X? And I'll be like, fucking Jesus Christ. And I'll have to go buy it.
Let's hope we will get the last part of the series, Rob, and then buy the 2 movies together as a Schnäppchen, as a bargain bin somehow.
The thing is, like, I can watch Tokyo Drift, or as I like to call it, The Drift, over and over again. I can watch Fast 5 over and over again. I can watch the first one over and over again. But this, I can't even. It was so terrible.
Okay. I have adapted, Rob, like the Borg. With the franchise.
That's fine. You can.
I had
you're assimilated.
many laughs considering the ridiculousness of the action scenes. I thought the hand-to-hand combat was great, and Jason Momoa was chewing the scenery. So I had a better time than I had in the theaters, Rob, because there was nobody talking as there were in the theaters. And I always, like you, I'm a completionist, Rob. At my steelbook for Fast and Furious 10.
All right.
Okay, just quick, Rob. What did I see digitally? And I will buy the movie just because, Rob, of the sound design. I thought, man, the sound design is great. I finally saw 65, Rob. Not the greatest movie.
I watched that.
But the sound design was awesome. So I will actually buy 65.
You're never going to watch it ever again. Don't buy it.
Yes, I will, Rob.
No, you won't.
Because of the great sound design. Yes, no. It's just 90 minutes, Rob. Quick and easy,
You can watch Phantasm again. If I would watch Phantasm in 4K if I had my disc.
Yeah, you will get it. The next one, actually, I watched digital and then decided, Rob, not to purchase the Blu-ray.
My man.
I watched the Korean movie Gangnam Zombie.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, not good, Rob. It's only 80 minutes, so you would
I thought it might be like a musical Gangnam style zombie musical.
No, it has just to do with the city that it's called Gangnam. It has nothing to do with the musical.
Well, Gangnam's a district, isn't it? Isn't it like a Beverly Hills kind of a place? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big city as far as I know.
Well, too bad.
In Korea. And they had the audacity, Rob. They start, as we know, some movies with the action stuff, and then you switch back. But later in the movie, they have the audacity to play the beginning completely again, So the movie didn't got out anything for the gorehounds. It wasn't funny enough. So really, I said, no, I don't need Gangnam Zombies. And this afternoon, Rob, we talked a little bit about during the box office. I watched the Meg 2 because even if Michael Leto says, I was happy to be possible to buy it on Voodoo as a digital purchase. And the movie was in the realm of Fast 10, really bonkers. And I'm really not sure exactly where I stand with the movie. But in the end, I had a great time, at least in the last half hour. There's one scene where Jason Statham and the little Chinese girl are talking, and in the background, all the actors, there's chaos and panic are running around them, and they have a heart-to-heart moment. It was just funny. It was just funny, and I will buy it. Unfortunately, it will probably not get a 3D release because I would love to have seen it in 3D. But for me, the Mac 2, it will be a purchase. So this was my first little haul run. More later.
Okay. Well, I mean that's good. More later. Let's see if let's go to the super chats and the tips
exactly.
and see if anybody is chatting or tipping or doing any of those things. Our friend Undead Sick says, completely agree, Rob. They need to go back to making movies that cost more than $2 to $20 million. Well, I don't know if studios could go back to that formula. I mean, what's interesting is Jason Blum is doing that. I mean, people forget, like Lee Whannell made Invisible Man for $8 million. And if the movie, I love Blumhouse's model. They made movies for various, $5 million was their number. And if they didn't turn out well enough, they'll put them on streaming somewhere. And then if they do, they give them to Universal, and Universal releases them theatrically. And on a $7 million or $8 million spend for Invisible Man, whatever the marketing costs, call it $20 million. They made like $100 million. And again, we've talked about, especially horror. Horror is showing it has to be good, but who knows?
I think it was the last hit before the pandemic hit. Invisible Man. Yeah, it was one of those less big movies that was a hit.
No Money G asks, when will Aliens be released on 4K? Do you know what the excuse is? Call your Hollywood peeps and tell them to get on it, Rob.
The excuses. James Cameron have no time.
Yeah, I mean it's a James Cameron issue. It's also it's a Fox issue. Or pardon me, I can't say Fox anymore. It's a 20th Century Studios issue, and it's a Disney issue. Why are they leaving money on the table? Don't know. It's their 100th anniversary. They own the Fox library, the 20th Century Studios library. Why don't we have it? The same reason we don't have The Abyss, and the same reason we don't have True Lies, and the same reason we don't have Strange Days, and the same reason we don't have Solaris. These are all Cameron or Lightstorm movies that are not available domestically. But thanks to you, I have Strange Days, and I have Solaris, and I have a bootleg. The Tuna Train got me a bootleg of True Lies. So who knows? Maybe it'll come out. I'd love to see a Dolby Atmos version, maybe. Our friend Guy Newby says, having just gone for a full Atmos system, including ceiling height channels, I'm praying that Warner Brothers does The Exorcist Atmos mix proud. At least 3 scenes where the heights could be used well. Marin! That's true. Father Marin, they could. I hope so. Look, I have the utmost faith when Warner Brothers goes all out, when their people actually, Warner Archive always does a great job. Warner Archive always has high bit rates and the best. I mean, they're. I wonder why that is. Let me think. Why does Warner Archive always have great looking discs? I wonder why. Maybe the person who's running Warner Archive, George Feltenstein, knows what he's doing and requires them to do so. But I think The Exorcist is going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait. I do have faith when Warner Brothers wants to do something well, they can. The people at MPI Motion Picture Imaging that's on the lot, they do a great job. So I think The Exorcist will be great.
When is the release date, Rob? First week of October, I believe. Exorcist?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. And then our friend Science Lady and her new channel, A World in Pajamas. Yeah. Julie Christie is my favorite actress. She had a bad reputation and didn't care. Just had fun. Do you have any of her movies? What is your favorite? Well, I mean, Julie Christie, I obviously have Warner Archive's disc of Demon Seed. I am a Julie Christie fan. I mean, she had a pretty great career, but I don't have a lot of, what was his, is it what is it, Tallulah? What is the name of that movie that I don't own?
Okay.
But my friend Dave Hargrove has a beautiful poster, and of course, you know what? I would say that I mean, I have the beautiful Studio Canal 4-disc set of Don't Look Now. One of the great, Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now, which is right over there. And I love Don't Look Now. Of course, that's notorious because her and Donald Sutherland really had sex on camera. And then, of course, I mean, she's been in great movies like Heaven Can Wait. Where's that 4K? Where's the 4K of that, dude? And then she was in movies like that I do have, like Far From the Madding Crowd and Darling, but we'd have to look and see what the movie is. And then, of course, I would say probably, my favorite Julie Christie movie, Shampoo, would be one. Shampoo. You know what she was in? She was in Francois Truffaut's adaptation of Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 for a science fiction movie people haven't seen. And of course, Dr. Zhivago, which I have. Far From the Madding Crowd, but I don't know. Hang on a second. I want to find the name. I like Far From the Madding Crowd. But there is a movie that the poster, and it's not, I can't think of it. I'm completely distracted. But those are some of the movies that I like. McCabe and Mrs. Miller. But I can't think of, I think she was in Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. I still can't. The movie that I'm thinking of, I can't remember. But those are movies, Julie Christie movies that I'm thinking of.
And just quick, Rob. Speaking of, Don't Look Up Now.
No, Don't Look Now. Just Don't Look
Now. Don't Look Now, which has a pretty different title in Germany, Rob.
Wait, Don't Look Now has a Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now?
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah. What was it called? The Red Jacket Murders or some shit like that?
No, I have to translate it, Rob. The German title is Wenn die Gondeln Trauer tragen, wenn the gondolas carry mourning.
Wait a minute. You're always telling me that the German titles are supposed to be simple, and that they tell you when the gondolas carry mourning. Okay, because the movie's set in Venice, first of all. And you're dealing with a couple that's getting over the death of when the gondolas. That's actually a pretty cool title for Don't Look Now, but okay. Wow.
What does Don't Look Now mean, Rob? Come on. When the gondolas carry.
When the I guess that is an exact. And
I did send you a WhatsApp message, Rob, about the Beast Within. I remembered correctly. It was called the Angel Face. In Germany.
Wow. Hang on. I'm still obsessed with. I gotta look on the IMDb. Hang on. I have to find out what is the name.
Tim Hens wrote Julie Christie was in Hamlet. You're correct, Rob.
Oh, okay, cool. I think because I have that. It's not 4K, but I have the media book for that. And then of course I own Did I say Dr. Zhivago because I own Dr. Zhivago?
Yep.
I want to find out though the name of this movie and. It's got a really cool poster, and if Dave Hargrove is listening to it, he's shouting it to me right now, and I can't remember. It wasn't Darling, it wasn't Dr. Zhivago. Petulia, that's what it was. Petulia, Petulia, which is good. I don't own Petulia, but it's got a great poster, and. It's one of the great movie posters of all time. Here I will find it, and my friend Dave Hargrove. I think he's got a 3-sheet of this, which means it's 41 by 81 inches. And here I will show you. That's the movie I was thinking of that I couldn't think of. Petulia. I will show you. Allow me to get the poster, and I will show it on the stream. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hang on. I did too many. Sorry about that. I'm sure.
Many posters.
Here's some scintillating. No, I here's some scintillating social media content right now. Watching me try and fix things on my computer. You know what? Never mind. Go look up the poster for Petulia. It's fine. It's fine. No, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
That is the poster. And I love this poster. The artwork is great, and it's a really great movie poster. And as a 3-sheet, it looks terrific too. So there you go. I know that's
Nice.
What more can I offer? What more can I give you? I can give you that. What do you want to know now? Oh wait, we haven't finished all the super chats yet.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I was asking.
Hold on a second. That was Julie Christie. That was Science. See, Science Lady always distracts me. I bet Science Lady is someone great to hang out with. John from New York says, "Hello, gents. I'm of the belief that the studios are going to revert to physical media as a form of revenue generation because, as they have seen, streaming isn't the cash cow that they believed it to be." Well, I think that the difference is that streaming is a cash cow because it's bringing in a certain amount of money every month that allows them to stabilize. Streaming was something like Disney 5 years ago, they didn't have Disney Plus. And by having Disney Plus, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue every month that they didn't used to make. And so it's a nice way to have cash flow. The problem is they were trying to apply what Wall Street wants them to do and have growth every month, which I think there's only so many houses on planet Earth that can subscribe to streaming, even if you have all 8 billion people on the world. I mean, of those people, how many people are going to want Disney Plus as opposed to something else? So what you wanted to do is think about it as a stable income stream and cap it and think, okay, but that's not how Wall Street works. We have to have explosive growth every month. Well, you're working in a finite space. So that kind of thinking was dumb. What you should have done is picked a number like we want 200 million subscribers and stay there. And if you have 200 million subscribers a month and you're going to end up charging $10, I mean, that's $2 billion a month that you're taking in. That's $24 billion a year. I mean, I don't know what business can rely on that as a stable income, but in Hollywood, no one's ever had that before. So what they're doing is they're doing all this profligate spending. It's ridiculous, but what are you going to do? Isaac Cushman says, "I just bought a complete series set of Future Man from New Zealand after I found out that Hulu removed it. Another point for physical, but it sucks that we can't even count on streamers to keep their own content." No. I mean, that movie that dropped on Disney Plus, Crater, that I really wanted to see about the kids on the moon, they took it off in a couple of months because why? Here's the thing. You got to promote, like anything, you've got to promote something that it exists. Why didn't they release Crater theatrically? I mean, every one of these streaming movies, how can you spend $200 million on a movie and not release it theatrically? Even if it only made $50 million, that's $50 million you didn't have if you just put it on streaming. I don't get it.
Lido said, Future Man, this was the series with Josh Hutcherson.
Oh, right. Is that what that was? Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't play here at Hulu. It was on Amazon Prime here. Future Man.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Daz Nuke, N-E-U-K. Daz Nuke. One of my all-time favorite shows was Moonlighting. It's not available anywhere apart from the old DVDs that go for well over £100. Why do some shows just disappear from existence like that? Rights issues, maybe? It's too expensive to release. I mean, I would imagine that Moonlighting is going to eventually show up. It might also be music rights issues. It's either talent issues or music issues that have something to do with the unavailability of shows. Or, now things, maybe it's not remastered in HD, so nobody wants to show a standard def version. And that's really cost prohibitive because there's a lot of episodes of that show. But it's a bummer. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, maybe it's worth investing in the DVDs. Who knows? B. Depp says, "I'll keep banging my war drums for this one, Rob. Please tell your contacts at Kino Lorber to reach out to Warner Archive and get the rights to release Under the Rainbow." Under the Rainbow is a docudrama or docu-comedy about the making of The Wizard of Oz, and it focuses on little people. Maybe the Munchkins, and maybe somebody says it's not politically correct. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm sure Warner Archive would release that eventually. So, yeah. True. I don't know. I think it might come out, but I don't think Warner Brothers would license that out. I think that's a title that George Feltenstein might want to see released by Warner Archive. Just a thought. A World in Pajamas. Once again, Science Lady says one of Dad's favorite movies was By the Sword, and I can't get it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I know. When you can't get something, it sucks. Maybe somebody will put it out. David Crabtree, our friend David Crabtree, who's a great artist, USMC, Semper Fi, and David Crabtree says, Happy Physical Media Sunday. My pickups from the past week are Blu-rays of The Last Castle, The General's Daughter, The Right Stuff. Did you get the media book? That disc is great. The Monster Squad, Clue, and 4Ks of The Last Action Hero, The Last Starfighter, and Out of Sight, and It's a Wonderful Life. Out of Sight, those are great. Those are great for all 4Ks. Yep. Last Starfighter's Arrow. I think Last Action Hero is Sony. Out of Sight's Kino Lorber, and It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know is that Warner? I'm not sure. But that's David. Good call there. Those are a fine haul, sir. Anonymous says
something for everyone.
What's that?
Something for everyone.
Something for everyone.
No.
Anonymous says, cheers, Rob and Dietz. Anonymous sends us $20. Do you ever wish? Do y'all ever wish the concept of the DVD era stills gallery would be revisited in the 4K era? If so, what discs would you want to get a stills upgrade or possibly reissued that way? You know, I got to tell you, I've worked on stills galleries. I don't really care so much about stills galleries because the thing about stills galleries is what I wish they would do is go in and, like, speaking of Julie Christie, David James, who I was lucky to work with him on Superman Returns, one of the great stills photographers. Now his daughter is one of the great stills photographers. He would do a lot of Spielberg's movies. He did, like, Saving Private Ryan. I have a beautiful hardcover slipcase book of the photographs that he took on Superman Returns that is absolutely stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And David James used to go in on Superman Returns, and he would his photography. There's a book on Saving Private Ryan that he did. His photography on Superman Returns was just. I wish everybody could buy this book. It's got a die cut cover. It's so awesome. He would go in and he would take out. He would of his pictures. He'd take his favorite pictures and he would print them out on like beautiful, heavy gauge paper. And he would, he'd color time his pictures and present them to Brian, like, on a daily basis. Like, here was the best picture that was taken yesterday. It was amazing. And I would love to go back and do stills galleries of that kind of stuff. Because a lot of the time, the stills galleries that we got were picked by the studios. They were the publicity pictures. And they weren't the greatest, necessarily. But it would be nice to go back and do things like, I'd love to see the original lobby cards reproduced instead of a stills gallery, do a lobby. Sometimes they did that, but no. I don't know. What do you think? Do you care about stills galleries?
But Rob, considering the releases, we often, from my perspective, get something like stills gallery. But does he mean the pictures being in 4K?
Yeah, I think that's what they'd want to do is upgrade the pictures into 4K, which is also problematic because sometimes you got to get those pictures back and they might not exist or something.
Yeah, because stills gallery are often the easiest one to put on the disc.
Yeah,
as an extra.
Yep. But again, it's also authoring. You have to author each individual still, and it has to be. You have to click through it, so there's work involved. But maybe,
Sometimes it's just you can't even skip through them. It's just a collection of the stills put together.
Oh, Anonymous is not Anonymous. Anonymous, who's asking this question, is actually 5 Dot Toast.
Oh.
And says, I forgot to sign my name on my tip in question. Ha! Well, we've got your back now. So thank you for that, 5 Dot Toast. And again, thank you for your ongoing support of this show. It's very much appreciated. David Crabtree goes on to say, I'm still hard at work on the Cyber Mech Saga graphic novel. David's been working on it for quite a while. It's some beautiful art. Working on putting together a teaser trailer. Rylos Omega, Centronus, is it Centronus Forge, Tronic Steel, and the Alpha Mech Force battling the Arklon forces of Lord Zordox. Magnus Strike, Dread Force, and others. Bro, count me in. Come on. Although I think I'm going to have to throw in my towel with Lord Zordox, just because Lord Zordox, I mean, how can you not want to be on Lord Zordox's side? I mean, come on. A World in Pajamas says, I'll hang out with you both drinking German beer.
Ooh.
Will you drink alcoholic beer with Science Lady?
Yes, but not at the moment.
No, but I want to get you hammered. If I'm coming into Europe.
Hammered?
Yeah, I want to get you like shit faced.
You want me in the chair, Rob, like this?
Yeah, I want to see what you do when and I want to make, we're going to go live. If Science Lady's in, we're going to a bar. We're getting Emma Bannon. We're getting Dean Mikitich. We're going to the UK, and we're going to bring you there. I'll be there. We'll just have a day of it, and we'll broadcast the whole thing live and make you pound some beers. Like, real steins of beer. You know what I'm saying? Not just ice water. It's going to happen. And I can imagine between Emma Bannon and Science Lady, we won't even remember what happened. It'll be fantastic. Guy Newbie says, remember when we used to get awesome DVD menus? Why are they all shit now? The Abyss DVD had incredible animated menus. Now it's a still image. Lazy. Well, he's right. Van Ling did those Abyss animated, where you had to zip around, but they were also very cumbersome to use, to be honest.
I remember, Rob, still the Terminator 2 Judgment Day was the first DVD that I saw that had moving menus.
Yeah.
Considering the jump to the scene. With newer movies, actually, if I haven't seen the movie, I actually prefer when the movie has no moving images, so I don't see anything yet.
Oh, I know. They're spoilers, especially if you haven't seen the movie. Yeah. Look, I would say that still frames are easy. It's like when DVDs first came out, all the menus were still, and like you would get like text pages about the movie, and I'm like, wow, text pages on a DVD. We've come a long way, but yeah, it costs money. The problem is the studios finally figured out, why are we doing this? Why are we spending money on animated menus? How does that? Where's the profit in it? And the answer is there isn't any. So they stopped doing it. Rightly or wrongly. So I apologize for that. So where are we at now? We're caught up on...
Are we caught up?
We're caught up.
On Super Chats. Where do we go, Rob? Do we show the news? Should we go through the news?
You want the news? Okay, dude. Okay. Let's talk about about the biggest news of the week. The biggest news of the week. Bum, bum, bum,
we don't release anything in Australia, but then we release stuff.
Okay, we got Disney 4K steelbooks of Disney shows because, hey, it didn't really work out. They're like, we can get rid of our physical media, and they're going to release Star Wars, and they're going to release, WandaVision and Loki. Now, I got to say, give it up for these gorgeous steelbooks.
Steelbooks are great.
This packaging is dope. It looks great. Yeah. Mandalorian. I mean, as a Star Wars fan, look at this. These are some dope ass artwork. Yeah. Now, here's the thing.
Are there some lobby cards in?
Yeah, there's like some lob. They're like. Oh, but here's the thing, Disney. Now, you might bamboozle me with pretty boxes and some lobby cards or some little bit of swag or whatever, but really, what it comes down to is, unlike your Marvel 4Ks where you choked off the sound, you didn't give us the Dolby Atmos experience we deserved. You didn't give us Dolby Vision. You didn't give us IMAX enhanced discs. You put your movies out IMAX enhanced. You want me to buy? I'll fucking buy. I have bought the Avengers. I bought a 4K Steelbook box set from the UK. I bought individual discs. I bought 3D discs. I bought I'll buy it again if you give me a 4K IMAX enhanced version that you don't choke off the sound. So what this comes down to is, are we going to get the optimal audio-visual presentation? So I'll tell you right away, because they've fucked us, I am not keen to pre-order these discs. I'm going to wait before I buy these. I'm going to wait to read a review. I'm going to wait to read a review. And if Disney used to put out some of the best physical media ever, and unless they go back to that philosophy, just because they put out some physical media, if this isn't premium picture and sound, I am not going to buy these.
I will pre-order the Mandalorian stuff, but I don't need Loki or WandaVision, no matter.
I want WandaVision. I love WandaVision. No. I think it would look fantastic. And I'll say, I want to buy these things, but if they're not great, I'm not going to drop the green. I mean, I'd much rather buy another copy of Stone Cold really, from Kino Lorber.
And they're not really, as far as I know, Rob, any type of exclusives. That they are just a Best Buy thing. They're not, as far as I know.
No. And are they going to put special? They could put special features. They could put commentaries. They could make these releases really special. But if they're making the packaging good and they're just going to toss off the discs, I think that these should be premium releases. I think they should put all the behind the scenes they can on them. They should make these things the best they can be, because if they want to jump back into physical media, they have to earn our trust. They have to earn our trust. So what you down or what? You in?
Yeah. For the Mando ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Just Rob, me for the shiny stuff, for the cover artwork.
All right.
If the discs are great, okay. That's a bonus.
But that's the only look, man. You can only get me excited if it's good. Yeah. That's it. I'm not gonna get excited if it's not good.
Perhaps Bray will be the first testing the water stuff. How good the release could be.
We had another big drop on Friday.
Yeah.
They teased us. Arrow announced 3 big titles in 4K.
And one was unexpected to me.
Well,
a sequel again, Rob.
Well, okay, since you brought it up, here we go. Tremors 2.
Yeah.
Tremors 2 Aftershocks in 4K, a direct-to-video sequel. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with Tremors. Who's Tremors? Tremors. Tremors was a fantastic 4K box set, really great. They did A-list, and I'm sure it sold really well. But Tremors 2, I mean, I have no plans on buying this. Are you going to buy this?
Probably, yes, Rob, just because I like the cover design. I love the green one,
Right.
To contrast with the orange one, with the first one. And I think, Rob, the direct-to-video sequel, the second one, it was passable.
I'm not going to buy this. You can buy it. I like the first movie. I like the first movie.
Yeah. Totally. First is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Now, this was unexpected.
Yeah.
Paramount release, Barbarella.
Yeah.
In 4K. The only thing wrong, I will totally buy this. I've owned Barbarella. I mean, Duran Duran took their name from this movie. And of course, it's a comic book adaptation, and it's got Pygar, the John Philip Law, who went on to play Diabolic, is in this movie. Milo O'Shea playing Dr. Duran. I love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. It has the Orgasmatron in it. It has Jane Fonda getting undressed in Zero Gravity at the beginning under a great theme song, and Barbarella quite Contrella. Okay. Really happy to see this, but again, great. I'm happy Paramount's giving their back catalog to other companies to release, but Arrow looks like they're knocking this one out of the park. I like this cover. They go back to the original key art, which is also great. I actually like
the original cover artwork more.
Oh, I do too. But that's on the disc. It's in there. It's got one of the great poster arts. That and Diabolic, great poster. And then this was unexpected. Now. Yeah. I know that a lot of people might not be that excited about this, but this is pretty cool. Coffin Joe. This is an insane release from
Jesus.
Arrow. I gotta say that how they were keeping this. By the way, Tremors is a new 4K restoration. By the way,
Nice.
So inside the mind of Coffin Joe, Coffin Joe. A lot of people don't know.
Help me out here, Rob.
Coffin Joe is Brazilian.
Okay.
And let me make sure of this. I want to say Brazilian. I can't pronounce his name. Jose Mojica Marins.
Yeah.
And so Coffin Joe is he's Coffin Joe, and I can't pronounce it. It's Zaidu Caxo. He's known in English language countries as Coffin Joe, a character created and nominally played by Brazilian writer, director, and actor Jose Marins, an amoral undertaker with Nietzschean beliefs. He's driven by his desire to have a son by the perfect woman, believing that immortality is achieved through procreation, a concept he refers to as the continuation of blood. He often resorts to murder, kidnapping, and rape to achieve these means, with his violent nature, atheism, and antagonism toward Christianity, placing him to conflict with his largely Catholic neighbors. Despite his own disbelief in the supernatural, he often finds himself experiencing paranormal phenomenon, including encounters with ghosts, death, and visions of hell. Initially conceived by Marins to serve as the antagonist in At Midnight, I'll Take Your Soul, Brazil's first horror film, Coffin Joe has gone on to appear in 9 more films, 3 television series, songs, music videos, and comic books. The character has been called Brazil's national boogeyman and is considered a horror icon and cultural icon of Brazil, with his popularity resulting in descriptions of him as being the Brazilian equivalent of Freddy Krueger. So there you go, dude. So look at this set. I mean, look at this set. Arrow has gone all out. I'm sure the people at Arrow have been working on this for a long time. This is a 6-disc set with sometimes they have multiple films on them.
Okay.
So and it's I mean, I'm going to get all these. I know very little of Coffin Joe, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
More than me.
it's amazing. They're doing all kinds of restorations. There's all kinds of audio commentary. There's just each one of these discs is packed with stuff. Packed. And the movies, At Midnight, I'll Take Your Soul. This Night, I'll Possess Your Corpse. The Awakening of the Beast, The End of Man. When the Gods Fall Asleep. The Strange Hostel of Naked Pleasures. Hellish Flesh. Hallucinations of a Deranged Mind, and Embodiment of Evil. Come on. All I can say is, I'll buy this shit. Are you kidding me? What are you gonna? What say you? You going for Coffin Joe or what? Come on.
Perhaps I will wait for some reviews about it because I have no ties to Coffin Joe. This is the first time I stumbled across.
Okay, Cat in the Bag. You got a beautiful box set from Arrow. The whole box set for you is a Cat in the Bag. Are you telling me you're not going to drop the green? You're not just going to lay out? You're not going to shell
Rob,
out the dollars?
how much will the green be for that box set?
That's a good question. Let's see if it says how much this box
So it's
set is.
an expensive Cat in the Bag, Rob. If I buy Shark Escape for $10, that's a cheap Cat in the Bag. But this one,
come on, I'm going to buy it.
I don't know any.
I don't know much about Coffin Joe
movies.
either. I think I've seen one Coffin Joe movie, the last one.
Okay.
I don't know. He's got a whole horror history that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
This is a college. If I ever get to be a college professor later in life, I can teach about Coffin Joe, and all I need to know is this box set, everything in it. Disappointed. You'll buy a Shark Attack movie, but you won't go for Arrow's beautifully curated Coffin Joe set. Look at that! Come on.
Let me see the reviews first, Rob. I have to delve into the movies, do some research about them.
All right. Wow. Okay. I'm sure the people at home are going, "Come on, Dieter, just buy it. Just hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button."
Rob buys it. We try to balance it out, Rob. We don't buy the same stuff.
All right. Now I'll tell you something. So you know that I ordered some stuff from Amazon UK using Ascendia. Never got it. They did refund my money. one of the things that I had ordered was Contempt, Godard's Contempt, La Mapris. Lionsgate's putting it out in 4K domestically.
Oh,
so there you go. Bridget Bardot's 60th
Right.
anniversary. I mean, I wanted to get the Studio Canal just because I like their box sets.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but it is coming out domestically from Lionsgate. So maybe I'll just wait. You know, maybe it was meant to be. And I like this cover, Bridget Bardot. I had a beautiful poster for this that the third floor has in their offices now. I love this movie. It's a great movie about movie making. I mean, come on, Fritz Lang is in this movie. So it's great. So that's Lionsgate. Another thing they're doing, again, I've had the pre-order from the UK for a long time. The 50th anniversary of The Wicker Man. The new transfer in 4K, Dolby Atmos, 50th anniversary release. This is the domestic from Lionsgate.
Yeah.
I like this, the steelbook with this cover on the top. I think I'm going to keep my order in the UK because I think the packaging is dope, but I do love this packaging. It's really, really cool. So why not buy that? I mean, hey, it's great that they're putting it out domestically for those who want it.
With way more stuff, I believe.
Yeah, it does. So, yeah, I'm keeping that. But this is a pretty nice looking package for those who just want the Wicker Man. It's great that they're putting it out. So good on Lionsgate for those two releases. Thank you very much.
And there should be the same transfer, considering they have they work together, Studio Canal and Lionsgate.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Lionsgate, how about that domestic release of Basic Instinct? Oh, anyway, beggars can't be choosers. And then we've got, look at this, The Black Phone coming out in 4K. Yep. Really like this movie. That's getting released in 4K, which is cool. The Muppets Take Manhattan, brother. Come on. 4K. I mean, I don't know if you're going to buy it, but it's coming in 4K. I mean, some people think this is the best Muppet movie. I'd have to check with my friend Mary Forrest to find out if that's true. I don't know, but there you go. Muppets Take Manhattan. Scrooged coming out in 4K. You don't seem very excited.
Not particularly, Rob.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll move on. I'm just reporting the news, brother. Trading Places in 4K, obviously another Paramount title that they decided after testing the waters with a Blu-ray, they're hitting us with a 4K. I don't know if I'll get this. I mean, I don't need, to me, a movie like this for Blu-ray's fine, but it's cool it's in 4K. I mean, hey.
Another one, Rob, who has a very different German title.
What is the German title?
As far as I remember it, the German title is Die Glücksritter, the Lucky Knights, I would say.
All right. Speaking of comedies that I will buy in 4K, and I didn't expect to see this, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. I really like this. I thought it was on like Freeform or not Freeform. It's on some crazy streaming platform. It surprised me that they're putting this out in 4K. I love this movie. It's hilarious. I'm totally gonna buy it. Buying it. And because why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we buy it? Now we get to Kino Lorber, the unofficial sponsor of this channel. Kino Lorber announced one of my favorite horror films, Burn Witch Burn, a.k.a. Night of the Eagle. I think this is Night of the Night of the Eagle version is already coming out somewhere else. I forget where. But they're putting out Burn Witch Burn based on Fritz Lieber's story Conjure Wife. I love this movie. Peter Wyngarde's in it. Peter Wyngarde plays a college professor that doesn't know his wife is a witch. And they're at this college, and there's all these other witches there that are trying to take him down. And he doesn't even know. He's like, witches don't exist. There's no supernatural. And his wife is a witch and is fighting off the evil witches at the college that are trying to ruin her husband's life. This movie's great. I love this movie. Burn Witch Burn's a great title, but it was also called Night of the Eagle. But I like the title Burn Witch Burn's the best. I love this movie. Love that it's coming out. Yay, us. Kino Lorber, things I haven't reported on that they're putting out in 4K. Two Mules for Sister Sarah, Clint Eastwood and Shirley MacLaine, putting it out in 4K. They're continuing putting out westerns in 4K, which is dope. They're putting out Phil Alden Robinson's Sneakers. I love this movie in 4K. Love that that's coming out in 4K. They're also putting out Charlie Varick, a great Walter Matthau crime thriller. And I love that they go back to the original key art. Joe Don Baker's in this. Don Siegel, again, directed this movie. Again, putting out some classic 60s, late 60s, early 70s movies in 4K. You go, Kino Lorber. I love Kino Lorber. Imprint announced that they're putting out another film noir collection. I love their film noir collections. Kino Lorber puts out film noir collections. They've got some new titles coming out at Imprint. Now this, which is awesome. Now, Dietz, I know you're going to go for this, the 15th anniversary box set. But you know what? I'm not going to buy this only because it's not in 4K. It's in Blu-ray. Don't understand why. But I know, I mean, come on. You know you're going to want this. You know you're going to buy this box set. That's right, the Twilight movies. Look at that box set.
The complete saga, finally.
The complete saga. There it is. But why not in 4K?
Wait, it's not in 4K.
It's not in 4K. It's Blu-ray, man. Yeah, man. What's up with this?
Wait,
I mean, do they think teenage girls just don't have 4K discs? Look, I mean, I actually like the first Twilight movie, and the last two, not bad. You know, Bill Condon. Yeah. But it's maybe not something for me. But I like this box set. I mean, if you're gonna, it's cool.
I'm just
by the way,
Rob, weren't they never released in 4K?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Strange. Whatever. You know, what can you do?
Considering the Hunger Games are available in 4K from Lionsgate, so why not the Twilight movies? Strange.
Hey, you know that book you have about the Hunger Games? How much does that book cost?
Not as much as today, Rob.
Just
not
kidding.
as much as today.
Then we got a Korean film, I think, coming out. Now, is this a Cape Light release? I'm not sure. Limbo.
Exactly, Rob. Exactly.
So Limbo coming out. I love this cover.
You have to get it, Rob. Great movie.
Yeah, I know it's a great movie. I'm glad that we're going to be able to get it here. This is a must-buy. Yeah. Can't wait to get it. Coming out. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So
is it then through MPI that the Cape Light?
You know, I don't know because they released
in America.
Because they released All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's
how that deal was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But definitely.
But Limbo is great, Rob. You should get it.
I'm for sure. Absolutely going to get it. Then we got The Walking Dead, the complete collection on Blu-ray, the entire series of the regular Walking Dead. I love this cover.
11 seasons.
11 seasons of Walking Dead. There you go. I don't think I'm going to buy this. You know, I don't think I'd watch Walking Dead again. But, I mean, maybe somebody would want to have it. It looks cool. Looks good on the shelf.
I already have all seasons, Rob. So
well, there you go. For me. So you don't need it. So it's a no for you.
No.
Well, there you go. Yeah. And then we get to sales figures. First, we've got, these are the top 20 sellers of the week. And and these are all discs, so top 20 sellers of the week.
Yeah.
And we got number 1, Fast X. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 3, 1923, A Yellowstone Origin Story. Nefarious, that's that faith-based horror film about the serial killer that may be possessed by a demon, which I actually watched clips of and I want to see it. Looked interesting to me. Asteroid City, which is Wes Anderson's new movie. John Wick Chapter 4 at 6. The Super Mario Brothers movie at 7. Babylon 5, The Road Home at 8. Nice to see that.
Nice.
Mine's coming next week. Avatar, The Way of Water, and of course, The Machine. So there's that. And then we've got... so now this is the top 20. I'm only going to give you the first 10. Blu-ray discs, Fast X, Guardians of the Galaxy, Babylon 5, The Road Home at number 3. Number 4 is Asteroid City. Number 5 is John Wick Chapter 4, 1923. Super Mario Brothers Nefarious. The Venture Brothers, Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart at number 9. And Avatar, The Way of Water at number 10. That's Blu-ray. And now we go to 4K. Now let me just point out that this is from this week, August 19th. We've got the 4K is down to 8.7, but UHD is entirely dependent on what's coming out. But look at DVD, 60% essentially. 60% because most people, you know, we have to remember that most people are not those high-end adopters. Blu-ray and UHD, if you're a gamer or you love movies but you have the equipment to play it on, most people, DVDs are fine. And I have to say, to be honest, to be honest, I've been watching some Kino Lorber DVDs. As a matter of fact, where did I put it?
Okay.
Here it is. I got to give a shout out. This independent horror film, Brightwood, it's a sci-fi horror movie. Kino Lorber did put this out. It's only on DVD. I can't recommend this movie highly enough. Now, it is a total micro-budget movie.
Yeah.
They sent it to me. I knew nothing about this movie. I saw that it was at some film festivals. Total cat in the bag. I had a really... This movie is about a couple that goes jogging in the woods around their house, in their neighborhood around a lake, and their relationship is falling apart. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Watch this movie, Brightwood. It's a micro-budget film. It was really interesting. It reminded me of Benson and Morwood, like Resolution or the Endless or Spring. It's kind of like that. And Dane Elcar, who directed it, I even reached out to him on social media. I said, bro, I really liked your movie, so check that out. It's good. Brightwood. You can get it cheap. Top-selling 4K discs, Fastex #1, and at number 2, Babylon 5, The Road Home.
Unbelievable.
I mean, amazing. Thank God we're getting the whole series
as an animated movie.
As an animated movie, number 2, who would have thought? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, well, Michael Straczynski thought. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Enter the Dragon is number 5, Avatar The Way of Water, Super Mario Brothers movie, Roman Holiday, great classic from Paramount, Sisu at number 9, and Swamp Thing hanging in there at number 10 from MVD.
Just when you see the list drop, you see all the big blockbusters, and in between it's just Babylon 5, direct-to-video.
Crazy. Direct-to-video original movie in 4K.
Yeah.
Love seeing that to be the case. So that's pretty cool. So that is the news, my friend.
Okay. Who shows stuff, Rob?
Well, I could go. You know what? I got a stack of Warner Archive stuff I got. Actually, and I watched some of it
that everyone wants to see.
I know you got. So Spencer Tracy, Joan Bennett, and Elizabeth Taylor in Father's Little Dividend. This is the sequel to the original Father of the Bride. I didn't even know this movie existed. I watched this. This is pretty good. I really liked it.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. If you like the original, but this is the kind of movie that Warner Archive will put out. This is definitely fun for the whole family. Really liked it. Really enjoyed it. Then I actually watched this, the original Little Women with Katharine Hepburn.
Ooh.
From 1930. I want to say, hang on, I don't want to get it wrong. Is it 33?
So,
I think it's 33.
Is the new one with Florence Pugh, is that a remake of that, that movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's based on the book by Louisa May Alcott.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. It's great. And it looks fantastic. Good on Warner Archive for putting this out. I don't know. These aren't out yet. I got this. I wasn't expecting to get, but Warner Archive put this out. Really, really good. Now, here's something, honestly, I did not know this existed. This is an animated movie written by Chuck Jones, the great Chuck Jones, and his wife. And it's called Gay Paris. Gay Paris. Animated film with everyone's favorite star, Liza Minnelli's mom. And one of her last appearances. It's pretty interesting. Of course, Judy Garland. I didn't know Judy Garland did an animated film. Here it is. This looks great, by the way. It's pretty funny. It's a charming animated musical with the legendary Judy Garland in one of her final roles. She's the voice of Musette. Get it? Mew? A French country cat who goes to Paris in the gay 90s. So I didn't know this existed. If you're an animation fan, you need to pick this up. Why not, right?
Where does George find these titles, Rob?
You know what? George Feltenstein pays more attention
in the archives
to the Warner Brothers or the MGM and the MGM library than apparently the people that are putting out the main Warner Brothers titles. And then what I have not watched, another Elvis movie, Spin Out.
Ooh.
Elvis's Spinout. A CinemaScope Western, which I also didn't watch yet, but I love these. Wichita, which is another CinemaScope widescreen Western.
So
Joe McRae.
CinemaScope, Rob, is probably 2.7 to 1 almost.
I don't know if it's 2.7 or 2.35 or 2.39. I'm not really sure. But you know who directed this movie? Jacques Tourneur, who directed Cat People.
Ooh.
And okay. The original, not the Malcolm McDowell version.
Yeah.
But I mean, great, and that's why George is putting out these movies with these directors. Like we're seeing a lot of Fritz Lang stuff. This is pretty cool, and I didn't know. With a badge and a shotgun, Wyatt Earp is the law in Wichita.
Oh.
The law in Wichita. So this is something I definitely can't wait to watch. And finally, Paul Muni in The Life of Emile Zola, which had was a little controversial when it came out because it didn't deal with anti-Semitic issues. It probably could have, but it's I've seen this movie before, and it is a courtroom drama, and you know how I like courtroom dramas. So, and Max Steiner did the score for this. But I saw this once a long time ago. Good movie to have. So I'm happy. Again, a very eclectic. Now this is, I think, the last group of Warner Archive titles till they give us something like Chaz Palminteri and Palmetto, which is more modern. But again, Warner Archive, boy, they've certainly been spending the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers and giving us a fine selection of releases this year. So you go, Warner Archive. You guys have been kicking ass. You know why? Because you have somebody out there who really knows what they're doing. So here's to George Feltenstein. I just have some water, but I drink to you, George. And then my final disc of the week.
The sequel.
The sequel, I got to thank once again the lovely Emma Bannon. This is one of my favorite sequels. It came out when I was in the 5th grade in Mrs. Francisco's 5th grade class. I incessantly drew, you had to cover your textbooks with paper covers, and I was drawing. I drew the cover of this movie. I was so excited to see this movie. I fucking love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's not as good as the original. It's been out for a while, but I didn't get it because I was waiting for this. All the way from the UK, a full-blown special edition with a lenticular cover.
Ooh,
Jaws
that is
2.
Ooh.
It's got a 3D cover.
Yeah.
Greatest outline ever, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Exactly.
And this is a swag-filled... Although I will say this, I have a criticism. I have a criticism of this release, and I'll talk about it. Here's the cover. This has one of the great, with the water skiing women, one of the great covers. I don't know why they decided to do this. I mean, I get it. I mean, okay, we get to see a woman's ass. That's always appreciated.
That's why I actually bought a collector's edition to get the original inside,
I mean, I don't understand. Like, if you look at this, I get it. It's like the reverse. I get they're trying to be cheeky. You're looking at the reverse of the main artwork.
Yeah,
and
there's actually, Rob, in the Meg 2, there is a scene almost like that where the Megalodon eats 5 or 6 people at once.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this on the disc, you've got the famous artwork that was also on the Hank Searles novel. But this is a pretty cool package. The disc, it looks great. It has a phenomenal John Williams score, but it also has some swag in here.
Yeah.
It's as we say, swagalicious. You've got a great booklet with lots of good information and lots of good stills, which I always love these books. Good production information, so good on you. And then you do have a recreation of the lobby card set.
Yeah, I love them.
With the Jaws 2 logo on the back. I know you love the lobby. See, one day, if I ever can renovate the Robservatory and have a bathroom in here, like put a bathroom in, and turn it into the home theater, the dedicated home theater I want to, I'm going to take all of this swag and I'm going to wallpaper the bathroom with it. That's how I'm going to use it all. That's my dream, Ray Kinsella. And then it comes with the original. It's a 2-sided poster. It's pretty interesting. So you have the original key art, and then I believe this is the teaser poster. One good bite deserves another. So that's cool that they give you a recreation of that, because I do love this poster. It's not as iconic as, but and then this was also the cover of the book.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Pretty close. It is pretty close. So thank you to the lovely Emma Bannon for hooking me up with this UK release.
Yeah.
One of 2000. This is numbered, and I have 1508 of 2000. You know what I'm not going to have? I'm not going to have 1508 of 2000 of the Jaws release with the BFI book in it, but life, what can I say? So what do you got, buddy?
So my last 4 titles, Rob. First one, came out here as a 4K release, but probably the master is just a 2K high tension, Rob, as a 4K media book.
Sweet, dude.
Who started the French Revolution, considering the horror stuff. So we've got the media book part, which has actually a lot of text. I see less pictures, a lot of more information, and it comes with a documentary about the horror wave that came from France and started with high tension. And I see, Rob, it's about 92 minutes, the documentation about it. So high tension came with different cover artworks. I decided for this one. The next, Rob, Cat in the Bag, came yesterday with William Sadler, actually. It's called She Came from the Woods. It's a media book too.
That's cool.
Cat in the Bag, it's limited to 555. I got 408, almost like you. 1508. So looks like a little bit of an 80s slasher, hopefully. So that looks nice, but this is not a 4K. This is a Blu-ray and a DVD.
Nice.
My scam stuff. She Came from the Woods. Cat in the Bag. And the last 2 titles, Rob, stuff from Japan has arrived, Rob. And what I love from Japan is always that they put stuff in little.
Look at that. What is that, my friend?
That is Avatar: The Way of Water, the collector's edition, which comes with the Steelbook. The Steelbook is the same design, but the Steelbook is actually, Rob, when you open it, it's actually empty.
What?
Yeah, it's actually empty, because you can fill it with the 2 ones you love, because everything you need is in the separate package. So you've got the movie in 4K. You've got, of course, the movie in 3D, which is splitted on 2 discs. Then you have the movie on Blu-ray and the bonus feature. So you could actually fit in the Steelbook what you want. The 4K plus bonus, the 2 3D.
That's pretty cool.
And this is the outer package.
Nice. All right.
From the first thing that came from Japan, like we talked about it last week, via Express. And the other thing that came via Express, Rob, I got my Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, see, I don't have mine's coming. They shipped it, but I don't have it yet. Do you have? Is that got the 3D version in it?
Yeah, exactly. And the Steelbook is getting released in October. So if you order the Steelbook, it will take a little bit longer. Here's the 3D version, which comes with the shifting aspect ratios too. Yep. And like the first one, like with the first one, Rob, it has great effects where it goes over the black bars,
Yes.
In the first one, you had 3D effects where the effect was going over the black bars. The second one has some identical stuff. But this is not all that came. I put a little bit extra money to get something extra with the release of this, but I wasn't expecting that it'd be this big. I was thinking there were just character cards inside this Blu-ray release, but they're actually bigger than I thought.
Wow.
Actually this size. I'm always loving that the Japanese put them in those kind of cellophane. So I was just expecting lobby cards or character cards inside the Blu-ray, but they're actually way bigger than expected. We have
Nice.
the whole crew. It's, I believe, 8 or 9.
Those are cool, man.
Because you could order the disc with different swag
Right.
and even Cosmo. So this is my haul from the week, Rob, but I forgot to mention one thing. Considering Fast X, Rob, my Panasonic, did strike his service considering 4K. This is the first time I used the Xbox Series X to watch the 4K, and I was pleasantly surprised, Rob, considering the performance. So like you said, we are hoping the gaming consoles keep physical media besides the normal players alive. So the Xbox Series X, totally fine with it, to use it as a 4K player, Rob. Just saying. This was my first experience to use it. And even if I put the disc out again, the disc was relatively normal considering how warm the disc will be getting.
Yeah.
Considering if I put the disc out from the Panasonic, it's sometimes it's a little bit heated. But this was very cool, fine. So very pleasantly surprised considering the Xbox Series X performing with
Nice.
the 4K.
All right.
My haul.
A good haul it is, sir. Let's see. We got a few. Adventure Square says, since you mentioned McCabe and Mrs. Miller, I have to give a shout out to my favorite Robert Altman movie, Nashville. Well, one of my faves of his. What do you guys think of this movie? I love Nashville. I mean, it's funny. I didn't see Nashville. I saw Nashville in 1988.
Okay.
At USC. I saw it on the big screen in Norris for the first time. Drew Casper showed it, and I was pretty blown away by it. I mean, I really loved it. I'd love to get Nashville in 4K. That would be a good one. It's a big sprawling movie with many characters and all these great actors. But it's great. You'd never see a movie like that get made. So it's really, really good. But where's the 4K? The Legolas has been a member of the channel for 6 months. Thank you for that, Legolas. And our friend King Tannic, Israel, who does the Otaku Experience, says, what up, guys? Glad to see you all doing well. The live-action One Piece show based on the anime and the manga comes out this week on the 31st. Will you guys be watching? Oh, I'll definitely check it out. One Piece. It looks. Why not?
Is that the series or the movie? What?
It's the series.
The series.
Yeah, it's a series. It's an ongoing series for Netflix. I hope it's not like Cowboy Bebop. I hope it's a little better than that.
Yeah.
But we shall see. And then our friend Kinky Sphincter has been a member of this channel for 32 months. I always appreciate a good Kinky Sphincter, so thanks for that. B-Dep sends in a super chat. Doesn't say anything, but just sends in some support. So thank you, B-Dep. Mr. 47, member for 5 months, says, this is day 6,969, dude, of asking for Aliens, Nightcrawler, Gone Girl, and Prisoners in 4K. I would like all of those. I don't... Look, I want... Where's the 4K David Fincher? Come on, we need 7. Well, I have Social Network.
Yeah, in the
box set.
Columbia box set, yeah.
In the Columbia box set. But yeah, I'd like to get my Fincher on. I'd love to have 4K Gone Girl. 4K 7 we know is coming. I would love 4K Zodiac, the long version. Thank you, please. Come on, man. All of Fincher's movies. Benjamin Button, Panic Room. I'd love to see them come out in 4K. So, Mr. 47, I feel your pain. And I hope we get those movies. And Nightcrawler, I don't know if we'll ever get Nightcrawler in 4K, but I love Nightcrawler. Jake Gyllenhaal's awesome. And that Aliens will get in 4K. Prisoners, I don't know why we don't have in 4K. I think it probably came out before the 4K transition. But come on, Warner Brothers, that's enough. Where's the? There's a Christopher Nolan box set. Why isn't there a Denis Villeneuve box set? With Sicario and with Prisoners and with Incendies and all that. I don't know. Maybe one day.
Enemy.
Enemy. I don't know if we'll ever get Enemy in 4K, but I'd like to see these things. And Tom Jr. Jackson just sends in some support.
Nice.
So thank you for that. A sticker. So thank you there. But I think, my friend, we've reached the end of the road.
No, Rob. It comes the dreadful part of the show for you.
Right. I was hoping.
Don't worry, Rob. It's not very long. It's not very long.
I was just kidding. I know this is your favorite part. And far be it from me. I would not want to pull the rug out from under you and take this joy away from you.
Here we go.
So I turn it over to you.
Previously on Let's Get Physical Media. Alex Robber, I can't answer the question now, but I will get to it. So I reminded myself, is Mutant War Ghost Warrior better than Oppenheimer? I remind myself, but I haven't watched Mutant Ghost Warrior yet. Altmetall, just considering the heat last week, just buy a fan instead of the Cynthia Rothrock Special Edition. No, Altmetall, I will not buy a fan instead of the Cynthia Rothrock Special Edition. Rogu says Blue Beetle is a family-friendly movie that's best suited for a streaming service. It's not a big blockbuster movie for the theater. Okay. Roman Chopa, Oppenheimer scored more in Europe than in the US. Considering box office, it's always great if you have a little bit more considering the international take. BDEP, I've really come to dislike Disney. It's a shame. I was pumped when Star Wars and Marvel rights were bought. Now I wish they were set free again.
Me too.
Adventure Square, I do wish studios would have at least a few film lovers in charge of their physical media plans. We all do, Adventure Square. PM Ferreira, one film that needs a special edition is Breakdown. Ferreira, I think Breakdown has a special edition in Australia from Imprint. If you mean the Breakdown movie, the thriller with Kurt Russell, this is the movie that I think about when I read Breakdown. And it came out from Paramount as a special edition. Not 4K, but it was a special edition in the States too. Alexander Dukas, the studios need to monitor the legit pirate market to see what fans want and synchro release theater releases and physical media. Rampage, I've been watching Endor. It's even better binging. That's how the show should have been released back in the day anyway. Vegas RoboCop, the two greatest cinematic disappointments of my life, RoboCop 2 and Predator 2. Todd Golden, Spock has been great on Strange New Worlds. I just read that, Rob. I just read it. Todd Golden.
Wow.
Molly Lani, I watched Joyride, could not get past half an hour. What an unfunny movie. I had a good time, Molly, with Joyride. Michael Lynch, does anybody know a good TV 75 or 85 inches? I need to get a new TV. Old one died. Rob, have you any recommendation for Michael considering 75 or 85?
Well, inches? You gotta rock the I would an LG OLED. Let's see, probably 83 inches.
Okay. That is between the sizes that he wants to.
I mean, there you can see like the LG Class C series, $4,000. $4,000 for a OLED that's that big. There is a Sony Bravia XR OLED that's $5,000.
Yeah.
But if you're, because I really want to get a 83-inch OLED, I won't be getting one anytime soon, but I would love to get one.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, right. I know.
There you go, Michael. Tina Gussman, I have Cutthroat Island, as everyone should have. And my friend demands, release Cutthroat Island, the Harlan cut. I'm down for it. Adventure Square, longest goodbye, not longest goodbye, I think you mean longest goodnight. Yeah. It's a must watch. Encanto 007, Rene is an Awesome director, Die Hard 2, and Cliffhanger, bump up. Thank you, Rondo. Alexander Dukas did write in something on German, but I couldn't make a little bit heads or tails. Says Dieter, my alias box set. He loves the German box set. I didn't know there was a special alias box set coming out in Germany. Then a fat box shelf sets plus UK non-disc killer bigger Rambaldi box plus unified box sind mein Schatz are my precious, he says in German. Secular Monk asks, Rob, what is a cat in the bag movie?
Well, I mean, I think I leave that up to you. As they said in the secret of my success, the sweet smell of success, the cat's in the bag and the bag's in the river. But why don't you explain what a cat in the bag is?
Well, Secular Monk, pretty easy. Rob wants to buy Coffin Show, but he has no idea. He has only seen one movie, not the others. So he doesn't know what to expect from the other movies. It's just, or like he showed, what was the title, Rob? Birchwood that you showed from DVD? Brightwood. Rob didn't know what the movie was entailing at all. So he did go in blind, has not seen a trailer, has not seen everything. You don't know what to get. Sometimes can be a quite good surprise, sometimes not so. Cat in the Bag is just, you don't know what you have bought, actually. Tim Hens, German media books put every country to shame. Tim, after the show, we have to conversation over WhatsApp what you will get for this great line. Secular Monk says, fill in the blank. Only RMB could go to, and then he leaves a blank. I don't know what. Go to the mall? I have no idea what you mean.
You know, I'll go pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. Irene Jobson. I could picture Dietz chilling in a random black market basement, purchasing his 4Ks and giggling because he got, how do you spell it? A good deal, but in German. How do we spell a good deal in German, Rob?
Schnäppchen.
There you go.
That's how you spell it.
That's how I spell it, exactly. Alan Ling, I think, I didn't know if he mentioned it, but he got it asked he got it answered in the live chat. Is Barbie getting a steelbook? I've seen images, but I haven't seen it go on sale at Best Buy. The question came from Alan Ling. Yes, it will get a steelbook of 4K with perhaps different artworks. It will get a steelbook. The Alex Sorber, I watched Dune 84 a few times and it just never works for me, but I keep trying. The Alex Sorber, I'm actually, you and I, sir, parked our shuttlecraft in the same shuttle bay. I always tried with Dune 1984, but just as for you, didn't work for me. Alexander Dukas, Dune 1984 is so much better than Villeneuve and one of Hans Saudrek's fails. Chemist, considering last week we had a little telephone call with someone. Chemist, just casually ringing up Brian Singer, absolute chat. Xavier Phoenix, leave it to RMB to casually dial Singer. Tim Hens, wow, Brian Singer live on the show. And Hux Pups Culture says, wow, Brian Singer live on the Burnettwork, outstanding. There you go. But this was not the first time that Rob called him. I think on some observations you called him too, Rob.
Yeah, I've called him before. I mean, I've known Brian since film school. I've known him for over 30 years. So, yeah, he's got some interesting stuff cooking.
Yeah. Tim Hens, Let's Get Physical Media is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So almost like a cat in the bag. The Alex Sorber wanted to know, but he asked, is Hunt 4K, the movie that I showed with the star from Squid Game that he directed? Yes, this was the 4K Alex Sorbers, but I don't think it has English subtitling.
Boo.
Irene Jobson, it's been a hot moment since I've seen Rachel Cook, but she's always quite lovely from what I remember. Irene Jobson, if you speak of the movie that I showed last week, Killshot, I think you mean Rachel Lee Cook, perhaps. This is a different Rachel Cook that is in Killshot. Tim Hens, anyone who thinks Strange New Worlds is better than Better Call Saul is at leave of their senses, and I have not even watched the later. He hasn't even watched Better Call Saul. Bill Barkley, Dieter, say to Rob this please. I see the duel is coming out on 4K later in the year, but will include the extended TV cut. I have not heard that.
Yeah.
Will it include the extended TV cut? The edition?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
Okay, nice. And Altmetall was asking, I was on the Plain Archive in Korea store this week. He asked me, Little Drummer Girl is sold out, and I told him before in the live chat, you have to go to eBay, Altmetall. You will find Little Drummer Girl from Plain Archive there. And this was the live chat, Rob.
Yeah, that was painless.
Yeah, I told you. It will be
I didn't feel myself aging.
Yeah.
Whiskers
oh
growing.
My God, another half an hour. People
commenting. True. It's true. Well, I would say that this is good. B-Dep. This is a good question. First of all, Stubble McShave says, "Is that Schrodinger's cat in the bag?" That's funny. That's a physics question. That's it depends what kind of a state it exists in. But you have to if you have a cat in the bag, you have to observe it or it doesn't exist. It's not a cat in the bag if you don't watch it. It has to be something you've never seen. I don't know. There is a Schrodinger's cat thing to say there. That's pretty funny. I like that, Stubble. That's good. B-Dep says, I wanted to get Rob's opinion on the announced Coke Play-On Dune re-release, but messed up my prior super chat. Okay, so the great Dune box set that you bought. How many Dune box sets did you buy for people in the States? 5. Okay, so basically they're re-releasing that in a standard release with the same discs, as far as I understand, the same content, but none of the beautiful box and none of the swag. And I don't know if it comes with the soundtrack, maybe.
I have no particular idea how the box will differ to yours.
Yeah, so I think the coolest thing about that is the Spice Diver cut.
Yeah.
So it's cool to get that on disc. So, for those of you who missed the big box set, and let's face it.
It's sold out. This is sold out.
So it's cool that they're putting it out again, and I think it's great for anybody that, look, I love getting that box set, but I think anybody that wants it should be able to have it. And the fact that Play On is re-releasing it, good on them. I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I think it's great, because
nothing's more positive than an edition has been sold out, Rob.
Right. Yep. Because I'm not one of those people going, ha, even though you did get it from me. It is pretty cool. I'm just saying. I mean, it's one of those great releases. But yeah, it's good. So yeah, I'm down. So I have to say that B-Dep. I think it's great that people are going to be able to get it. Alexander Dukas.
So if you missed out on the other set, and like Rob said, you are interested in the Spice Diver cut, the set is totally worth getting. I
mean, despite all the fact, look, it's great to get these cool special editions with. Let's face it,
especially since you can order this on Amazon. The other one was exclusive. I had to get it for you because it was exclusive. You couldn't order it on the store.
Right, and that's right. Yep. Now you can get it. I would say this: despite the ridiculous swag and these boxes and all the packaging and all that crap, I mean, let's face it. As much as we like it. And I like getting all those exclusives just because it makes the movie special. At the end of the day, even if physical media came in a paper sleeve with nothing, as long as we're getting great transfers, great sound mixes, and we're getting the optimal versions of these films that we love, that's really what matters. It's great. I love getting the box sets just because I love having a nook in my house where I can walk in and look at all my physical media collection and go, ooh, cool, But at the end of the day, what's really important is the movies in their best presentation with the best sound, the best picture, the best transfers we can get. That's really all that matters at the end of the day. As much as hey man, don't get me wrong, I love a lenticular cover Jaws 2.
Totally.
Because I love Jaws 2. And when I say I love Jaws 2, it doesn't hold a candle to Jaws, one of the greatest movies ever made. Yeah. But it has
it's a nuts and bolts sequel.
It is, but it's pretty good. I mean, I think as sequels go, and what's really interesting is I thought it did something unique in that it's kind of a cross between American Graffiti and Jaws in that instead of cruising around in cars, these kids are cruising around in catamarans, because I like that. I like that milieu.
And you get more Bruce, Rob.
You get more Bruce,
couldn't do it the first one.
which I don't know if that was the best thing in the world, but hey, and it's got some good set pieces, and Roy Scheider's great in it. So hey, I like John, and it has a great John Williams score. The opening piece of music, the orca with the harp and stuff, when the divers discover the orca, it's great. Love it.
Yeah,
it's better than Jaws: The Revenge. I'll never buy that.
Definitely.
Do you know that they were once going to make a movie, the third Jaws instead of Jaws 3D? This is a true story. Okay. The third movie was going to be National Lampoon's Jaws 3 People Zero. That's what the movie was going to be called. That's a true story.
What was the concept of
it was going to be a comedy. It was going to be like a send-up, like a spoof, like Airplane. And I think Jaws 3 People Zero would have been hilarious. And now we basically get it in the Meg, but it's, for real.
Yeah.
Jaws 3 People Zero. There you go, people. There you go. Alexander Ducasse sends in a super chat and says, "You've both made my day." Go ahead. Make my day. That's my Clint Eastwood. So that was what, Sudden Impact? The fourth Dirty Harry movie?
Ooh.
Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, and Sudden Impact. Go ahead. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Something.
And just on a quick note, Rob, that we have to talk a little bit about it. Ahsoka. Of course, I've seen the first 2 episodes. And I was really looking forward what Rob will be saying on the John Campbell show. And he used one word that perfectly described again what the show was lacking. Actually, dynamic. Dynamic was the word. I remember Rob already was not so thrilled with the directing of Dave Filoni in the Mandalorian series back in the day, and I thought, oh, what is he talking about? But with Ahsoka, at first, I'm happy, Rob. Oh, 50-minute episode, great. And then I see this episode and I think, well, this could have been done in 40. Easy. And it moved at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
And it was totally undynamic from the camera stuff. And you told us in the John Campbell show you think it could have something to do with the volume, but I don't know, Rob. It was so undynamic for me, well, and the video game story, like, the fetch quest again. So I'm still hoping we will get something out of it. And like Chris Gore said, lightsabers don't matter anymore. Next day in the hospital, you will be fine. And
look,
like his friend Alaning said, you are at a disadvantage if you haven't seen Rebels. I have seen Rebels, strangely enough.
Me too.
So I knew the characters already, but the show doesn't give you anything to grasp on for these characters.
Well, I'll tell you that, and I feel the same way about Strange New Worlds, that these shows are no longer actually about anything other than themselves. Like Ahsoka is all about this, it's take Rebels, and it's all about the Star Wars universe. There's no, and people say, well, isn't that what it's supposed to be? And I would say no. And I was giving the perspective on Robservations the other night. Like, if you look at a movie like the Man with No Name trilogy, Boba Fett kind of based off of the Man with No Name with the poncho and everything. In the Man with No Name, the first Man with No Name movie is based on Yojimbo, the Kurosawa movie Yojimbo. So you have you've got Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And if you want to say unofficially, High Plains Drifter. But and Pale Rider. But I think so in A Fistful of Dollars, which is the first Man with No Name movie, you have these two warring families. So our main character comes into a situation that already has something to say on its own. These two families are pitted against one another. They're warring for various reasons, for resources and real estate, money, all that. So this is a story unto itself that has nothing to do with the Man with No Name. It's not about the Man with No Name's life. It's not about the Man with No Name's friends. It's not about anything about the Man with No Name. The Man with No Name rolls into this situation, and he assesses it. He's like, all these people are douchebags. I'm gonna, and like what Yojimbo did. So there is another story going on that our main character rolls into. The problem with these Star Wars shows, and like when George Lucas was looking to Kurosawa, whether it's Joseph Campbell and the making of myths or the mythic, the hero's journey, he had something else going on. It was Luke Skywalker. If you took Luke Skywalker out of Star Wars and dropped him into the Middle East, or you dropped him into England, you could tell that hero's journey story because there was no Star Wars universe yet. To me, Ahsoka is one. It's an amalgamation of Star Wars characters we've seen, an apprentice, a Jedi, this, that, and the other thing. And all of these characters are now amalgamations of what Star Wars characters are supposed to be. And all the rigmarole that they're going through is just Star Wars universe stuff. Someone's an apprentice, I'm mad at Sabine, whatever's going on. There's no larger storyline that I find very interesting. And the same is true of Star Trek. Like Strange New Worlds, in the original Star Trek series, there would be a show, like the Enterprise would roll up onto Aminiar and Vendikar. And the Enterprise would beam down to try and open up relations with Aminiar, and then they would find out that Aminiar and Vendikar have been fighting a war for 1,000 years, but they've been using computers to do it.
Yeah. I remember that episode.
And so people go into these disintegration booths, and they figured out a way to make war palatable. That the idea of war is no longer messy. We don't have to blow up any buildings. We don't have body parts. We're using our computers.
We don't have a cleanup to do.
No. And so the Enterprise crew's like, well, this is monstrous. So there's a story being told that reflects back on us. Like, what would happen if we were fighting wars with computers? That would be absolutely monstrous. They've figured out a way to make war something to live with, which is something that we shouldn't do. Metaphorical, allegorical, whatever you want to call it. So that's what made Star Trek interesting, is our characters would roll up onto some kind of a situation, and how would they deal with it? And how they dealt with it would define who they were as characters, and we would gain insight into our main characters based on how they would deal with an outside situation. Well, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is no longer about that. It's only about, like, we've watched a whole season about Spock trying to hook up with Nurse Chapel. Oh, I got to deal with my fiance. It's so stupid. It's no longer, I know people like it. I don't begrudge anybody that. But it no longer has anything to say about us. It's become a generic relationship show where the characters, it might as well be The Office, or it might as well, take your pick. The writers are writing generic relationship stories between characters. It just happens to be in the Star Trek universe. The science fiction has been completely removed from it. And I would say the same is true of Star Wars. You're watching Ahsoka, and it's only about Dave Filoni's brand of Star Wars. It's about Rebels, it's about Clone Wars, it's about all the things that we've been watching through these animated shows, and now we're seeing them in live action. And I have no interest very much because it doesn't have anything to say. Yeah. When you watch Luke Skywalker undergo his training, when he meets Yoda, I mean, Yoda was the philosopher we all needed to meet in 1980 when because there are lessons in Empire Strikes Back. Oh, I can't do it. I don't believe it. When Yoda has to remove the X-Wing out of the swamp. I don't believe it, Luke says. And Yoda's like, that's why you fail. And so we, the audience, are learning as Luke is learning. Look at me, judge me by my size, do you? And where you should not, because my ally is the Force. And Luke says, well, what's in that cave? Only what you take with you. I mean, you're watching Empire, and there's so many little nuggets that we are learning about. And at the same time, you get the interpersonal relationship with Han and Leia's burgeoning romance and all that, but it's still you're dealing because they're trying to escape. There's something going on in these new Star Wars shows. They're just about Star Wars. I mean, the Obi-Wan show, which could have dealt with guilt and recrimination, just becomes another, well, here's Princess Leia, and when are they going to fight Vader? And all of it is just about Star Wars. Oh, we're waiting for Obi-Wan to fight Vader again. Well, why? I want to know what a character like Obi-Wan, his Jedi Order has been destroyed, he's racked with guilt. How does a man like that find redemption? Tell me a redemption story. Nope. We're just going to tell you a story about Star Wars. We're going to put all of our iconography in it. It's not about anything anymore. And as I'm watching Ahsoka, I'm like you said, it was slow, and I'm like, but what's it about? I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
just
care.
the scene with Sabine Wren when she tried to figure out, the magic crystal ball. At first, I'm making a cup of coffee. It took forever, And like I said, it was totally not dynamically told in any kind of way. I'm hoping it will pick up some steam, and considering I actually like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but here for me she didn't work at all, because could we please, considering Star Wars, hire unknown actors? For me, Mary Elizabeth Winstead got painted green, so for me that didn't work either. So I will hope it will pick up a little bit. So at the moment, really meh. At the moment,
yeah. I mean, I would ask everyone that's writing science fiction that's not literary based to decide before you're going to make a Star Wars show. Like, that's what I loved Andor, because we saw how a rebellion began against an empire, and the story that was being told in Andor, while it was in the Star Wars universe, how it was the story of how many rebellions, the North Vietnamese or South America, or how many Japan, how many rebellions like this have been fought, and it shows the oppressive hand of what the casual cruelty of the workaday empire does to human beings or other people. There was so much that Andor had to say about our world. And the problem is, look, I don't want to piss a bunch of Star Wars fans off. I don't begrudge anybody for liking it. But people desperately want to just love Star Wars because they love Star Wars. And I get that, but I want Star Wars to be good. And in my lifetime, I got Star Wars and Empire, and when I got to Jedi, I'm like, what is this shit? When I was 16 years old and I watched Return of the Jedi, I know people are like, what? But when you watch Star Wars and you watch Empire, you got a great fairy tale. Then you got an extension of that fairy tale in Empire that enriched and expanded the universe with Yoda and the idea of a knight being formed, having to go take on his father and all that. Return of the Jedi, aside from the rescue of Han Solo and the confrontation with the Emperor, the middle of that movie is like, what is that? Who cares? Okay, we're going to go to Endor, and here's a speeder bike chase. What the fuck does that mean? Well, it doesn't have to mean anything, Rob. It's just a cool speeder bike chase. No, it does. It's got to service some greater story, because in Empire or in Return of the Jedi, the rescue of Han Solo is cool, swashbuckling action. But then I wanted to see more of Luke's journey. It's basically like, well, we get to watch rescue Han, and then he goes to meet with the Emperor. That's the only thing that matters in that movie. The rest of the movie, like I would have loved to have seen Princess Leia realizing that if they destroy the Emperor, they're going to look to her as a leader. Well, what does that mean? How does she feel about that? They could have made a story where she's really fucking nervous. Like, I'm going to have to step up and lead this new government. What's that going to look like? And maybe she was nervous. They don't go into her character at all. Her and Han Solo are just throwaway. There's nothing going on there other than the fact that they're plot devices. Well, we have to go destroy the thing, and we'll meet the Ewoks. And even the idea of making it, an insurgency against a technologically advanced empire, they do very little with that. So, for me, there's two great Star Wars movies. There's Star Wars and Empire that changed my life. And the rest of it, whatever. Take it or leave it.
Like I said, the stuff with the lightsaber. If I remember correctly, Rob, in Phantom Menace, didn't Qui-Gon melted a steel door with his lightsaber?
Dude, and now there's all these people going, well, this kyber crystal isn't as strong. It's like, these lightsabers are plasma. It's like, if you were to stick that into a human body, it would liquefy a humanoid body. And the fact that they've now made lightsabers, when you get impaled, you're fucking dead. Or you get cut in half like Darth Maul and somehow survive. But this, Sabine Rand, it's like,
yeah,
flesh
I'm
wound.
fine. As the critical drinker would say, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Fine.
So
Okay,
I know everyone
that's
don't
our
get mad at
little
us.
take.
But there
Our
you
little
go.
take on Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I will watch it. I will continue watching it because I know Rebels. I have seen Rebels, so I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
the
you want to?
characters.
I want to see what happens. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I just wish that there was a lot more going on.
yeah. We got the last super chat, Rob? Or-
Yes, Alexander DaCosta says, Rob, does The Way We Were 4K have new commentary and interviews of Streisand or Redford? I do not know. We know about reinserted footage, hint, or EU DEET embargo. I don't know. I do not know. I cannot tell because I haven't seen the disc. I'm going to buy that, though. Memories.
You showed it last week in the coming up section.
Coming soon, yeah.
Coming
But I don't know what it's got on it. I don't know. Actually, I could. You know what? We have this newfangled contraption called the internet, and
which is very great
it's really great. So let's see.
technical marvel.
I know, and let's see what the information I can glean from it at the stroke of a key says. And I don't know why this always happens to me when I'm trying to find something out when we're live because I'm now straining. See, sometimes the internet doesn't work. I'm straining. Here we go. Blu-ray.com.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's got. Well, it's got English subtitles, French, Spanish, and of course, Sidney Pollack. That's the reason to get it. You know what? It doesn't say. They haven't really detailed it. It comes out October 17th, and they've said nothing. Packaging, discs.
Specs to be a.
Yeah,
TBA.
we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. But, oh, wait a minute. It's from Sony.
Yep. Oh.
So, does it say? It doesn't say anything about the special features. But maybe there's a new interview. Who knows? I mean, Redford and Streisand, it would be great to get them both together to talk about this movie, but that would probably be expensive. Who knows? But I'll be buying it. And then, hang on. I'm looking at the details on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't say. It's interesting because it says the runtime is 4 hours and 1 minute. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe that's because it's got special features. But listen to this. Subtitles. Norwegian, Czech, Dutch, Thai, Hungarian, Arabic, Finnish, Mandarin, Chinese, English, German, Danish, Italian, Swedish, Polish, Portuguese, Turkish, Greek, Korean, French, Hindi, and Spanish. And it's dubbed in Czech, Italian, Spanish, French, and German. So there you go.
Ew. We keep our eyes on the price. So I think, Rob, we have
That's it. We're done.
covered everything. Okay. So, from my end, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen, especially when we rant about Warner Brothers and Ahsoka and Star Wars. Because, man, just wind us up and watch us go. We'll see you all next week on this fine show. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for supporting the channel via super chats and tips and members and all that.
I forgot, Rob. Next week is the part of the month. I have night shift next week on Sunday.
Oh.
You have to put in another guest.
I'll have to find a guest, so Dietz won't be here. Maybe I'll get like Bill Hunt or somebody.
Unfortunately not. I have night shift. Night shift next week.
I'll find somebody. Maybe I'll bring back Serial at Midnight. That was great. Heath was great. But you know, I'll find out. I'll call somebody. Next week will be September, dude. September.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to play my David Sylvian September's Here Again. And every September that goes by, I'm closer to death. I just think that. But anyway, so, okay, we'll see you not next week. We'll see you the week after with a stack of discs.
I hope so.
Hopefully by then I will be moved over to do this show on the other side of the wall that's right here. So we shall see.
And don't be too upset if the weather is slightly not what you are expecting.
Not. All right, my friend. Everyone, thank
See
you.
you guys.
Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to Tom Jr. Jackson. Thank you to our great moderating staff, because you guys are the best. Tom is here. I don't know if anyone else is here. I don't know if Mr. Foley is here or Lord Toth is here.
Oh.
Yes, he is, Lord Toth. And thank you guys. And thanks, everybody. And we'll see you later.
Next 40 minutes.